There we go. We got 2 claps.
The double clap.
Yeah, but I didn't look at the camera.
It looks tilted.
It's one for Lucas.
When do you think it tilted? What do you mean? It looks fine. If
it looks tilted on that thing.
It probably will be. It probably will be.
All right, well,
You know who's tilted right now?
I'm not judging anybody.
You guys.
Man, I was getting tilted, but Connor came in clutch with the way to fix it. I found how to use the fucking the settings as well on this H6. I've had it for a long time. I didn't even know that you could do that, but now we've learned something here today. We've learned a lot.
Has technology gone too far? The AI episode.
There's the demonetization right there.
By the robots. Yeah. But the answer is yes. Technology has gone too far. We're all here in Paris right now. Gentlemen, wait, you weren't here when we did it with Connor last time.
No, he took my place.
That's right. It was you, me, and Yanko.
Yeah.
In that little...
That was in Rio.
Was it Rio?
No, that was Katowice.
Katowice.
You were there.
Rio.
I
did Rio with you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
first repeat guest. How's it feel?
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh, what an honor.
Well, Connor is
we
as
both
well.
are.
Connor did.
Oh shit, we just went over
both,
that.
Yeah,
we actually just went over
I
that.
like how I got priority though. That was cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Gold
for me,
status.
first repeat guest for me personally.
Okay.
And technically, he was on before.
Actually, based on the conversations we had today, Moses is the first repeat. Moses has been losing all day.
That's true.
I
Jason,
haven't taken a lot of shots today. I haven't.
yeah, but you know that's part and parcel of being the leader of the group, right?
Oh sure, I think that's what you say when you want to keep
When you want them
the
edited,
emotional
want the
abuse
episodes
to
edited.
continue. This is where you big me up, so you can just tear me down later.
I'm not trying to tear you down. I'm just trying to big you up. You're the most responsible of the group, I would say, and that's a positive.
That's not a good sign.
Why
for
not?
you guys.
Because an alcoholic's in charge.
Yeah, well, we're doing all right. We're doing all right.
We're pulling it
There
together.
were some responsible things today. Connor did 2 responsible things. He got me approval, and
Yes.
he
He
paid
fixed
for
the-
he paid for the bill,
And he fixed the H6.
and he fixed the H6,
Oh, yeah.
and even
3
sorted out
things.
the split for everybody at dinner.
Wow.
And that's not something that this
That's
is.
4
I
things.
respect you, Connor. Actually, if I'm going to be honest for a second,
Uh-oh.
you don't understand how much I respect that move.
Which one?
The going, I'll pay, because you know you're going to get the money back.
Yeah.
You know that it's going to be an awkward situation if we split the bill fucking 15 ways. And you've gone, I don't want any of this bullshit. You've gone, I'll fucking pay. And I respect the shit out of that, because the amount of times I find myself in that situation, I want to avoid can we get the bill split? Who's doing this? Who's doing what? What's you got on the fucking check?
Yeah.
I don't want any of that shit in my life.
Yeah.
Normally, when Yanko's around, he just hazes Dinko into paying. No Yanko around this time to haze anyone into paying.
Yeah.
I saved Dinko that night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
You made him do the dishes.
No, I paid Dinko back for...
Does Yanko know that?
No, and he doesn't listen to podcast episodes.
That's the rule, right? You never listen to the ones you skip.
You're only allowed to listen back to the ones you're on to please our narcissism. Gentlemen, I don't know if there. Well, we should probably cheers.
Cheers.
Sure.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers
To Nico MVP at Paris.
the predictions.
Okay.
Speaking of which, that was a fun thing that you did as well at the dinner table today, Chuck.
Yeah.
I just got limed. I just want to let the record show that Jason's cut the lime in our Coronas with a knife. And
It's a subpar knife. I was given a butter knife.
Hey, you have no idea how hard it took.
better than
That was hard.
cardboard,
Yeah, bamboo cutlery.
which is basically
I'm
cardboard.
not saying it wasn't the best option. I'm just saying, the limes are going to be a little sketchily cut.
Sketchily
cut. That
You
sounds
like
like an Australianism.
But today we were talking about clunge gunge. That's going to get us deep. So anything could happen here
Don't
quite
Google
quickly.
that.
No. Last time someone left a comment. There's some funny comments. I was reading you some of them
Yeah,
today.
you did.
But it's not that one. There was a guy who made a comment like, yeah, I was listening to the podcast and like 10 seconds in, my dad walks into the room and you're talking about cuckolds and stuff. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sorry.
Your favorite Counter-Strike podcast.
Yeah, exactly, right? We try to stay as far away from that as possible. So I had something, gentlemen, and this is something with the two of you. I haven't really had many social interactions with it. A couple, right? A couple, I would say 10 or less, right? Because I don't go out a lot, right? And so for the two things to link up, us being at an event together and for me not to be introverted, they don't happen very often. But something that I've been trying to get more comfortable with lately, I call him Jason. But I would say up until recently, I would have called him Scrawny.
Yeah.
But I've been calling him Connor more.
Yeah.
Now with you,
Yeah.
I'm still getting there.
Yeah.
I'm still getting there with the Mohan.
I mean, I've got everyone saying Launders.
Yeah.
Like even my girlfriend says it by accident
it's
sometimes.
it's an alias that sounds like it could be an actual
Launders.
name.
That's actually
Yeah.
that's the etymology of Launders. Like I made up a word that sounded like a person's name, so I could get away with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that worked.
But I realized if I use that name at Starbucks, because I don't want to say Mohan at Starbucks, because then it's fucking Mohammed. It's like who even said that many syllables? Anyways, I'll say Paul at Starbucks now.
Sure.
Because Launders isn't a real name, but it does work as like an esports handle, online handle,
Sure.
kind of name.
Kind of name.
So, but do you have a preference?
No, not really.
No, it's the
to
same
be
as me.
honest.
Like, I don't have a preference.
I'm not
don't
attached to my name. I don't
No.
really. It doesn't really matter.
If someone calls me Chad or Sponge, I don't give a fuck. It's only weird when it's Chad if it's somebody that I have never met before.
Yeah.
Like if I was in the street and someone knew me from Counter-Strike and they were like, "Hey Chad," I'd be a little bit more like, I wouldn't. It's not going to bother me, but it's going to take me back more. If they go, "Hey Sponge," immediately I go, "Okay, well this person knows."
Esports person, yeah.
Exactly. But if they go, "Hey Chad," it could be anyone. Could be
I've
just someone I
been
went to school
called
with.
Moses since I was 12 years old.
So you've been called Moses
Whoa.
since you were 12 years
Yeah,
old.
since my brother and I started playing Counter-Strike.
gaming, wow.
Like around that time, yeah.
Damn.
He called me Moses at the dinner table once, and my parents got pissed.
Why? Why?
Because it was
They
like the
said too
era of
religious.
gaming where it was like, you guys are going too deep. You know, you're playing like 30 hours a week outside of school and all that. Like, we got to clamp down on this a
They
little bit.
had just finished their like pre-mill, prayer,
Yeah.
and then
They get up for dinner and
We're
they say
dropping
BRB.
Moses, yeah.
It's like,
But my
okay.
teachers called me Moses in high school and shit.
No.
So, yeah.
really.
Oh wow.
Wow. Were,
Yeah.
were you known for parting some waters in high school, were you, Jason?
You know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like articles in the school paper and stuff about us like traveling around playing video games.
Oh,
So all the
that's dope.
teachers started calling me Moses.
That's kinda
That's why
cool.
you have this ego.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's been a long time coming.
Mine was the other way. Like people didn't like people didn't really care what I was doing in high school. People didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I thought what I was doing was pretty cool, but I guess in hindsight
It was
really-
pretty cool.
Eh.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Were you competing while in high school?
Yeah, but
Like-
it wasn't like professional, right? So
Right.
this would have been one of the situations where
We called it professional at the time.
well, I didn't. I
Oh.
like to put
We
like,
did in the States.
If you got like a Radeon graphics card, you're a pro.
Yeah,
Professional.
right. This is where the sponsorships were like you'd put like ice mat at the end of your name or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or like your
I
team.
have a glass mouse pad.
I remember like this is the thing. You were part of teams and you had contracts, but it was basically so that like the owner could fuck you if he wanted. That sounds really bad because considering the age that we
Yeah,
were at.
put
That's
that in
not,
the contract.
That's not what I mean. Like what I mean is like the sense that we would be like locked in or that he could use us for shit and they would do nothing. Like I remember we had one contract. It was basically for jerseys, a server, and fucking TeamSpeak or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, why am I signing a contract with this? And it has a buyout. What the fuck am I doing? Like that was obviously early days.
Yep.
But my teams in the beginning, like when I was playing in high school, they weren't orgs or anything. They were just shit that I was like obsessed with. Like you'd come up with a cool name. You'd be like, oh, I want to name my team this or whatever,
What
right?
was your
Like,
first team name?
yeah, my first team name was Expo, EXPO, but I made it Exposure with a capital X and a capital R at the end. It
That's
looked really
very
cool.
esports, yeah.
So little E, capital X, and then towards the end, capital R, little
People
E.
don't even know Elite Speak anymore.
No.
And
No.
I did the my Pick'ems episode in Italy. So I made the smallest Godfather joke, okay, at the beginning where I said, yeah, I'm here at this wedding on the day of my daughter's wedding. Everybody was like, whoa, I thought you were like 30 years old. Why do you have a daughter? Not a single person in this video that has 40,000 views has watched The Godfather or understood the reference.
Your audience is Zoomers.
And that's crazy.
That movie's from like the 60s,
Is it
late
crazy?
60s, isn't it? Late 60s.
I
early
thought that,
70s?
I haven't seen Star Wars. Sorry.
No,
I
that's fine.
apologizing.
That's
Henry's-
But I understand
Henry's
all the
the same.
references.
It doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah,
but go
yeah.
on.
I did. I had a feeling. But I understand all the references is the point, right? It's permeated pop culture to the point that like, I know who Luke's dad is.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You
The
know, like-
Godfather, you've probably heard that in Family Guy. These are also old, so I don't
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna say.
But isn't Godfather on like one of like everybody's top 10 best
The
movies of all
first
time?
It
Godfather,
is,
I
yeah.
think, is considered like one of the top like 5 movies of all time.
Yes,
I think.
and it's still always good advice to just go through the IMDb top 250 and just watch like the first 100. Like
I'll be honest with you, I didn't see The Godfather until last year.
but you still knew the reference before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the point. But that is interesting.
Yeah.
Did you find it boring? That's my question, actually.
No, but it's very slow paced.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
very slow paced, and the action is not the same as like today's movie.
No, of
actions.
course
Yeah,
not.
Yeah.
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 But that's why I feel like today's stuff is fucked. Like, see these little badges right here. I'm going around with a little squidgy ball because I need to have something in my hands at all time, and I don't want it to be me staring at the fucking phone. So I've got a squidgy ball that I carry
Don't
around.
downplay your stress ball though,
Squidgy
because
ball.
I've cast one map of I've
With
cast
the
the best
squidgy
of
ball.
3. When you left it behind at a desk once, and I found that when
Pretty
I
good
was
casting
taking
tool.
over the place. I found that, dude. I was bouncing it off the ground, bouncing it off the table, squeezing it the whole entire time. I messaged you and asked you multiple times where you bought it because I want to get the exact same one. So don't downplay that ball. That's super useful.
It is a nice ball.
Yeah.
And
it's just the right texture.
Oh, look at this.
I think we were getting all shadowy. Is that how we like that better?
Yeah, it's becoming
I think it's
nighttime.
getting darker as
That's
well,
it's 9:30 and the sun is still. This is showing we're getting into a good time of year as well.
Sunsets at 9:12 p.m. here.
Beautiful.
Ooh, that's nice.
Okay. Did anyone get into any touristy stuff since
I
we've
did the
been here?
Eiffel Tower.
You obviously did.
And the Arc de
Yeah.
Triomphe.
Okay.
Nice.
Did
Yeah.
you?
I went bouldering yesterday and then went out and hit a bunch of wine bars and
Okay.
outdoor terrace.
That's a good
and
start.
whatnot.
Yeah, I think getting in and doing something active like that, like I always find that quite.
Helps, man. Sets
Yeah,
the tone.
I find it admirable in the sense that it's like you're actively choosing to do something in an event which is like going to center you a little bit, right? Like it just brings you back to the reality of like you as opposed to like what will happen today. Today would have been one of those days for me as a perfect example if we didn't go out and get food.
Yeah.
You, me, and Alex went out and got food because our call time for rehearsal was 2. Yeah. So if we didn't go out today, I would have just fucking sat in my room, probably throwing that squidgy ball off the wall, right? Like it's.
I think like for
I don't know how to frame
like
it.
players versus talent, it's such a privilege for
for
players
sure.
or for talent because we get to explore a lot
Yeah.
more. And if we don't find ways to take advantage of that, we just really lose out. Like we just start thinking about only the fact that we had to travel a long time and are no longer looking forward to actually being in a place
Yeah.
that might be cool.
We've
Yeah.
talked about it on enough episodes too. Like one of the perks of this job is travel.
Yes.
Is like a perk. I mean, it has its downsides as well, but getting to go cool places.
Yeah,
So
and
I mean, if you
experience
don't take
things.
advantage of it, you're just like, oh.
But
you
we
get
just-
home. People are like, how was Paris? You're like, oh, I don't know. I saw a studio in a hotel.
But we just went out for dinner with 15 of us, and that was fun. It's
Yeah.
an experience with people, get along with everybody there. It's like, hey, it wasn't like a big social activity. Well, it was a big in terms of the amount of people, but we weren't like, bouldering, for example.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that I feel like we talked about this when we started to climb again more at the start of this year is it's like bouldering is one of those things that when we go home to Montreal, I can climb 2-3 times a week. It's something that just I associate to Montreal and home and keeps me grounded there. And then when you get to a different city, if bouldering is prevalent there as well, you get to do that same activity that you're super familiar with, that you've been improving. It's, how many things do
Try
we
a new
leave
gym.
behind
Yeah.
that we can't continue?
True, yeah.
If you don't have a gym that has the same equipment, well, you can't have the same routine.
And it's easy, bro. You carry shoes with you.
Yeah, shoes. There are more accessories.
Well, like liquid.
Jason,
Liquid.
Liquid
You
not
need your
with-
liquid chalk. You need your tape. Your callus file.
Sick, man.
I have a job.
This guy here, today we're out. We went for a walk to get fucking food, and he's got a full backpack.
Yeah,
the
man.
guy looks like he's out to do some mountaineering or some
Yeah.
shit. I'm like, we're just going up the road for fucking brunch.
I take a backpack everywhere.
Yeah, last thing I heard is Jason was learning how to
Shut the fuck up
make
right
a
now.
chicken. What's it called? Like net chicken wire or
Chicken wire?
to make a chicken coop. He was learning how to make a chicken.
Oh yeah,
coop.
I'm gonna build a chicken coop next year.
You were talking about bird feed today as well.
Well, you guys were asking
Wait,
about
bird
it.
feed or
Alex was
bird
asking
feet?
about it.
Bird feeders.
I told them one
Oh,
of the things
feeders.
I've gotten into because now that I'm a dad and have a house,
You're
I've just
getting
become
into birds.
the typical suburban man. I've been going crazy with bird feeders. I like birds in my yard. I like hearing the chirp of the birds.
Well, I
nice.
remember Trace was getting excited about his place with putting up a fence. Like he was like, "Yeah, I'm getting this fence and all this shit." And what did he do? He had a drone and he dropped like a Coke from a drone.
Yeah,
or
he
something.
flew a drone straight up and dropped a Coke bottle
his
onto his
backyard,
driveway.
He would do that. He would 100%.
And he
do
was
that.
posting the video in chat like he was like having the best time of his life.
Alabama, by the way.
But you're bang on with like the bouldering thing, right? And I kind of, once you were saying that, I associated being in Malta in summertime and going out swimming with kind of like Australia in the sense that you can just go to this place, you can sit, you can get in the water, you can feel rejuvenated.
Continuity.
Yeah, and it's something familiar. It's definitely a different body of water, as the thing around Malta is a sea and not an ocean, in
As
case
we've discussed,
as we've discussed many a time.
Yeah.
But just having it's a good point. I need to become
And there's different
more
ways that
outgoing.
you can take advantage of it. I think it's just that you don't want to look back at some of the places you went and went, frack, I should have taken advantage of that thing.
Yeah.
So at Malta, for example, it's got like the best scuba diving in Europe, or so I hear. So like
There's
that
some
might
good
be
wrecks
something
and
to
stuff
get into
around.
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
We went
imagine
scuba
so.
diving. Me, Henry, and Alex went scuba diving at like a test one, and we did it. And I had a hard time regulating. Just like I would either release too much.
Did you get the
and
bends?
No, it was only shallow.
Okay.
But it is obviously a little bit concerning, right?
Yeah.
Like to what? But
Yeah.
it was fun. It was a good activity to do. But yeah, I think like I'm one of these people who has intentions to do things, but like never does enough planning to have the follow through.
Pull the trigger.
You just like, but hey, we're all
We're gonna go see the
Fucked
Catacombs
a
later
little
this
bit.
week.
Are we?
Yeah.
As soon as we get some time
Friday?
off. Friday, we'll aim
that'd
for
be
Friday,
nice.
I
That'd
guess.
be really nice.
Friday's off.
I'll see if I can score some,
Off.
buy some morning tickets.
Okay, morning tickets.
Well, just in case we have like a media.
I
day
like
later
the
today,
morning.
right?
Don't
like a
you-
10 a.m. trip, like not early morning.
You've got me with the morning.
Well, it was a techno show
10
Thursday
a.m.
night as well,
Catacombs.
so
I'm
Oh,
out of
okay.
here.
yeah.
You're on the night games, boys.
Yeah.
I just dropped the hottest Stewie reference and no one said anything.
What'd you say?
10 a.m. Catacombs. I'm out
Oh
of here.
shit!
No, that's not
Sorry,
very
man. I was reading what time call time was because I thought maybe it would be around then. It's not for us, as you mentioned. We're doing
Evening
the night.
games.
But you and Anders and Harry and Hugo. Harry, I think Harry's so because Harry and Hugo and James they all traveled today. To
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
I think they're
Saving
ready.
those British days.
Yeah,
those
they're ready
Brexit
ready
days.
for bed.
Yeah, but like traveled. I mean, it's a 1 hour flight.
Yeah,
1 hour 20 minutes. Don't shortchange it.
Come on.
I had to wake up at.
Does that count as a travel day?
To Europeans, man, Europeans get
That's
all
crazy.
They get the grace on the travel.
That's
days.
crazy.
Yeah, except, okay, I flew from Italy to here, but Florence is like this little town where they don't have Uber because it costs like $100,000 to get a registered medallion to drive Uber.
Oh.
You can't call any of the cab companies if you don't have an Italian number. And the only place that you can get cabs are in these designated taxi stands.
Yeah.
Okay, that they come through infrequently, and the entire town is sort of like people partying and drinking. So I had to go out at 4 a.m. with my luggage, walk 10 minutes to a taxi stand, and hope that a taxi would stop for me for my 6:30 flight. And there was a girl who was drunk who was sitting on the floor in the middle of the taxi stand, so no one wanted to stop because they didn't want her to get in. And I was just there. My girlfriend was on the phone trying to call the taxi companies for me, and I was just waiting and hoping someone would drive up to me. Oh, it was such a nightmare. And that was me.
That's stressful. You don't like starting your day with that kind of stress.
Yeah, and I got out of the wedding at 2 a.m., slept 2 hours, walked my luggage out to the taxi stand. Someone saved me. There was I remember his name, but Mamma Mia, you Italian man, I love Mamma Mia. And I gave him the fattest tip for just driving me to the airport. So
It is weird though, locations like that where everything that we're used to, because we mainly travel to cities, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of doesn't exist anymore. I remember when my family wanted to see me. Funny that. So they were like, well, they were like, they're like, you're obviously not coming home, right? You're not coming back. You're not coming back to Australia, which was true. I wasn't coming back to Australia. So they're like,
I'm so sorry.
no, that's all right, man. It's not my room. It's Jason.
Another L. Just take it.
And I apologize.
You haven't taken any L's. You've just been labeled. with
Jason's the only one who has morning matches tomorrow.
Well, we still don't have the call time. They're still waiting on that. They're waiting for approval.
True.
But what was I? Where the fuck? It doesn't matter where I was going, man. I wanted to show you boys. I wouldn't show you today. I'm gonna post this with when we put this live. Well, when Jason's sleeping and I'm uploading this later. I hope the internet's good enough, by the way. I wanted to show you guys this because I went to. For those listeners who are not aware, I have had
Who did not watch Molding with Balding?
Yeah, who did not watch that
Balding
great
with Balding?
episode.
Molding about Balding?
Molding about Balding. You, me, and
yes.
Trace. It's the only Talk Encounter special that's been done. We obviously talked about hair transplants. Me and Trace have had them in different variations. Jason, I don't know if you guys at home could tell, but he's
Did not have a transplant.
No,
It didn't go so well.
oh shit! But I did this on like the 22nd of November. So what I wanted to do was, because I went into the doctor for a checkup before I came here just to see if everything's going all right and see, if I needed to change anything or whatever. And he showed me the pictures they took in the surgery before I shaved my head to do this. So
Did you have these pictures, or is this all? Was this like new to you as well to see that again?
I didn't have these pictures.
You had the
Okay.
before, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I didn't have these.
Okay.
These are all from what they took. So that
was before.
that
you
was
got your-
before.
No way.
Yeah. Look. There's another one here. You can see with the hair pulled back. I did not realize, like, my hair, like, I knew it
Yeah,
was
it's done.
bad.
Yeah,
but I had
it's
no.
just kind of covered normally.
Yeah,
so
well, I
you
had
don't
it long,
really see-
so and I was
yeah.
wearing
Yeah.
it forward
Do
and
we
stuff,
need to
right?
show the camera? Is it-
I'll tweet it out when I do it later.
Okay.
Because this is why I spoke about it with the. So this is obviously now you guys can see my head now. The doctor was pulling
Yeah.
it back. To, like,
Looks
show
great.
It's crazy, like the fucking difference, man.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's like the full top of it. That is wild. That's like what's happened.
So
done a
worst
good job.
We Esports winner interview question ever. How do you feel?
I feel content.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing, my stance was like in the beginning, I was losing control of something that I couldn't really do anything about. Like if I change my diet, or if I had changed like lifestyle things, wouldn't change it. Like this is just what happens when you're a man, and DHT and all this shit. We spoke about that at length. The biggest thing for me was like not having the choice. And then I went into it, and I looked into all the options. Like I did a lot of research, probably the most research I've done on anything in a really long time, actually. Yeah. Because it was something that was bothering me like a lot, and it was more my self-confidence. I remember when we were doing like the Stockholm and Antwerp, it wasn't bothering me as much in Stockholm as it definitely was in Antwerp, I think. But I remember like there, I used to use like fibers and stuff, but it would just like it would taint the way you looked at yourself. Right?
Yeah,
because you would
blow to confidence.
Yeah. And
every morning.
Yeah.
Every morning when you're styling your hair.
But now that once I shaved my head, kind of all of that anxiety that I built was relieved. Like it was just like a pressure gauge because I was like, oh, I'm still me. Like I still look in the mirror and see me. Like I don't see my hair, but I still saw the person that was me. And then now that it's back, I'm happy because it looks like the version of me that, I remember. But it wouldn't have been the end of the world. Like let's say that this, for whatever reason, in 2 years, it all goes, nah, fuck yeah, I'm out. Okay, I've shaved my head. Now I'm not concerned anymore. I did have to go through surgery, and have a bit of a recovery time. But
now those pictures are...
So my girlfriend would just always say to me, yeah, but that time's going to pass regardless. And I was like, yeah, you're fucking right, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it.
What time's going to pass? Like the recovery
she was like,
time?
The next 6 months. Realistically, the doctor said, I don't go back in for another 3 to 4 months. At that point, it's going to be like 8 months. And he said at a year is where you'll see the full results.
Right.
But just the sense of these 4 months were going to go by regardless of what I did.
Oh, yeah.
I either act and I see something good, or I do nothing and it gets progressively worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the molding without balding checkup with live reactions of just how terrible it was. Thank you for your time. Well. That'll be the end of the podcast now.
I can feel my hair getting a little bit thinner in the back. My barber's letting me know, and I'm just thinking about it. And it's something that like most men think about at some point. But that's good. I think it's good. Like a lot of people, I'm sure you already have gotten like a lot of DMs and stuff from people listening.
I've spoken to some players and stuff who have reached out and whatnot about it because it's not spoken about a lot, and I don't give a fuck.
We got a lot of good comments on that episode as well. Just
especially guys. I mean, like we're transitioning, man. Like a lot of people get into this game in their 20s or teens, and then there are people who are getting into this space that don't have guys that are comfortable talking to, and or not everybody has good conversations with a group of people, like the group of dudes.
Yeah,
you don't have that circle at home.
Also, I think we're also all a little bit more outgoing in the sense that we're not as ashamed to talk about like problems or insecurities that we might have, but a lot of people really don't feel like they can talk to like their friends even about like things that are totally natural. So
I care more about what the people on the internet think about me as a Counter-Strike player than I do about what they think about my hair.
Right.
Right. Like the thing was, I cared more about my hair to me. But other people's opinions or whatever, like I would start to read more and more in like HLTV, like confirmed, because people would make comments about it. And that's kind of where it got to me. It's like, oh, other people are noticing. And that's where like I felt...
you had to address it.
Right? Like, no, because there's a sense, it reaffirmed what I was asking myself, is this happening? Because on a daily basis, when you're looking at it, it's not terrible, but really it's not what it's
not great either. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And to have these things like, my girlfriend, I would ask her like, how bad is this? She's going to go, well, it's not good, but she's not going to say, it's going to leave it up to me to make that choice about like what I was going to do with it and stuff. Yeah. And I think that that's the key, right? Is like the choice and coming to that realization yourself and everything like that. But the only thing I will say, right, and my doctor asked me about side effects. I'll talk about the side effects as well. So this minoxidil and finasteride solution I use on my head, right, if you take finasteride, it can have side effects like impotency, lowered sex drive, all of these type of things which men, we like to fuck.
We fuck here on Talking About
But I did have a period of time there, and this was like after Pro League, where I was kind of just like, right? But was that 5 weeks of hard work where I was tired, and then I didn't do positive things to reaffirm my life after that, like getting out and exercising and taking vitamin D, and I just kind of went full like hobgoblin mode, like, and then I was like, well, is this the side effects of so I've lowered. The doctor told me to lower the dosage. I feel the same. So I think it's lifestyle is what's affecting me right now. But this stuff, I use it topically. I haven't had any issues. I'm not saying that no one will have issues. I'm just saying I use it and I haven't had any dramas, and it's a piece of piss. You brush your teeth, you whack it in your hair, you go to bed.
I have one friend who had like a really badly receding hairline and a bald spot back in the middle, and then he started taking, is it
Finasteride and minoxidil.
Yeah, and he took that, and it just has completely brought back
Yeah,
everything
it's
completely.
crazy, right?
And he's just like, and he was talking about like the impotency thing, because if you Google it, like that's a huge thing that everyone likes to talk about, even though it's a very small percentage of people that actually get some like serious side effect from that. And he just feels like a lot of guys he thinks are impotent or get that because of it's psychosomatic.
Mentality?
Like you think you're the one, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, you think you're the guy who's going to get it. You're the unlucky one, whatever it is. But in reality, it's obviously not as many people as people think it is.
Do you think I could hibernate for a few months and get a transplant? Just what if I just came back for?
What, you would have come back with?
What
hair.
if I just came back with a full head of hair?
Rebrand.
Yeah, just entirely.
The Moses
Straight back
Would
up.
you still be Moses?
I mean, I'm only going to say this because I know you're fine right now, but you had great hair.
Fantastic hair.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But I think you also have. It's the way you wore it too. The locks,
and I
the
want
wavy
you guys
locks.
to Google Moses
with hair.
Well, I'll have Chad tweet that picture out
Yeah,
too.
it'll be like
because-
4 pictures of.
We'll do the before of me from like
When you say
2008.
we fucking talking counter, you got to see Moses' old hair.
But as much as you would regain your hair, I think that Counter-Strike would lose its best bald head.
That's a fact, yeah. That's a part of your brand, yeah.
Okay. Sure, yeah.
It's like there would be a loss for the community in that regard.
I would
the
say
world,
from the
even.
broadcast, actually overall in Counter Strike, it's like you, Crims, Forrest is only a recent adopter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
you
a
and
sort of
Crims.
Yeah,
unforced
Crims as well.
Crims.
Crims as well.
Forrest?
I don't know. I don't know Forrest. I just remember he was growing long hair and now he's shaved his head.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I don't-
Taz, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, true.
Taz would be in the.
But I feel like
conversation.
Taz always has like more around the sides. I don't
Yeah,
think he
he
like
keeps-
full
he keeps a
shaves it
little
as
buzz,
often.
yeah.
It's got a little.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if you
Full stubble.
because I would watch this guy and this bald guy's like called Bold Cafe or some shit, and because he would talk to guys. He has this channel. It's really good if you're going through it and you're worried about balding. And he talks to people about like what they were feeling and like all this kind of stuff and if they shave their head and what they do. And it's really cool. It's like a candid conversation this guy puts out to people who are searching this shit on YouTube, which is obviously a lot of men. And they sit there and they have these conversations and it's great. Like. And most of them, I would say almost all of them that I've watched, the guy's like, yeah, I shaved my head and I felt a million times better. And everyone like in the comments is like, yeah, you look better. Because there's one thing.
I can't. I even said that during the molding with balding. I was like, man, once you actually just shave your head, it's just like, oh, okay.
Free from
because
all the...
because here's the thing, it's not you're holding on to what you look like with a full head of hair. You're holding on to what you look like with half a head of hair or less. You know, so like that's the thing you got to think about there is like. But then there's also some people who it doesn't affect at all. Like some people don't give a. What's the guy's name? Larry David.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck.
he doesn't give a fuck about anything.
He doesn't give
Yeah,
a
no.
fuck.
He's
I
unique.
love Larry.
Larry David's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? Like different people with different levels of like confidence and stuff can, do
I
whatever.
think because he has that attitude, it even looks better.
Right?
It looks better on a guy like
Some
that.
people
can
you
pull
know,
that
like
shit off.
Larry
he
David
just
has made bald
he
sexy.
just-
He
yeah.
just nails it.
he just rocks it.
It could be the comedy.
That helps too.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
funny
that helps,
personality.
helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Helps a little bit.
For sure.
Do you guys want to move off of bold? I don't know what your preferences is down there, but on the top of the head, maybe we're done.
I want to relate this to one thing where it's like I can relate to you in this regard where you're like, I mean, I think it's good you guys talk about this and bring this up. The closest I can bring it up, like personally relate, I think is like in 2020 when I came out, when I talked about sexuality.
Yeah.
That's something like, again, like if you don't have that circle, Counter-Strike, I got a lot of messages about that for people who are like, dude, I finally told my gamer friends, because of
That's
CS.
cool.
Like I have my CS friends who do not know, and because one person talked about it,
Yeah.
and it's not like I wear that on my sleeve. It's not like it's not a it doesn't need to be a part of your identity being bald or being queer, but it's just like it's okay to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah.
You have that circle and you just get it out and you're like, fuck, what a relief. Like, it's like that one layer of not being yourself is actually just such a burden.
Yeah, the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you did it for yourself, but it's also just like such a bonus that other people benefit from that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things, like talking about things publicly.
You just needs one person to relate to.
Yeah.
You just need that one person. You're like, well, if they can, or like, well, whoa.
This is me being a fucking boomer, I guess, and just not being touched into the real world. But like, I even try and think. Yeah, no, fair enough. I just thought back. I got back far enough. I was trying to think when I was like younger, and not like a young adult younger, like when I was a teenager. And I think like, would I talk to people about things that were bothering me and stuff? And no, I didn't. I didn't really have any friends and stuff in high school. So then for sure, like I can think about this as you're becoming a young man, like you're talking like 17, 18, 19, 20. Like those are the most impressionable times. I think I lucked out at that age because I sunk everything into this. So like, but at the same time, I still don't. I just know people. You guys have known me for a long time. I remember when I would travel around and like it was early blast days and stuff, and I would go into their office in Copenhagen, and people were like, "Hey, go on, Chad," and I'd be like, "Oh, mate, you know, I'm fucking burnt out. I'm traveling. I'm living out of a suitcase," and I'd kind of talk my problems through. But that would I'd kind of been wearing it as like a shield of like, yeah, like everything's kind of fucked. Yeah, exactly, right?
About, yeah.
But I would talk about it in that way, so everybody knew what was wrong. But I didn't come to people in the sense of like, hey, can you help me? Maybe it was a cry for help sometimes.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah,
Maybe it was.
yeah.
Now we're reflecting on
But
this.
you made it look like it was like an easy problem. When
It just turned into a therapy session.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important.
But this is the thing, like people talking about shit like at the moment, okay, if we might have to get to Counter-Strike at some point. Jason, remember, has an early call time tomorrow.
As if you've ever given a
it's
fuck
not
about
bad today at all until this moment.
I reckon I've been in a bit of a funk like the last couple of weeks. Like I have had no energy. I haven't wanted to do anything. And then the last few days before we came, I got my shit together. Like it wasn't getting out of bed was a problem, but it was making sure that I was being accountable to myself and just being like, yeah, like
having some productive days.
Exactly, right? And that's because I'm fortunate enough that I don't have to have a productive day every day in the sense that I don't need to get up and go to work or go to school every day. Like the way that I structure my days is different because of the type of work that we do. But I was I was in a really bad funk. Like some guy made a comment on the last HLTV Confirmed and was like, "Oh, SPUNJ is looking pasty. Like, go outside." And then some guy replied like, "Lol, he even lives in Malta." And I was like, "Shit, I haven't gone outside in like 2 weeks." Like the only outside I would do would go out and collect the food that was getting delivered. Like I was like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
You know,
Follow
I was
those
like,
little
"What
routes.
am I fucking
Yeah.
doing with myself?"
Do you think there's a correlation between? So if I just had to observe what you did prior to that happening, you were on a long stint, man. You did the whole Pro League, all of Pro League into Pro League playoffs.
Yeah.
You guys had a break because you could have been at the RMRs but weren't.
Yeah,
having
probably.
to go to Rio and knowing the majors around the corner, right? Like, so good on you, first of all, for taking that break. But then after, I feel like you said this recently somewhere, I can't remember where exactly, but it's like, if you just travel for 6 weeks, when you go home, you're not the same person. 6 weeks of experience have passed, and there is that readjustment where it's like, I go home to my girlfriend, and that makes me so happy. But sometimes when you don't see and talk to each other on a daily basis for 6 weeks, it's like it does take that little bit of like
Getting used to.
where are you at?
Yeah.
What mood are you
Dude,
in?
those
How
long-
has your life been lately? And it's like you have to reconnect, and not only reconnect with that person, but reconnect with your lifestyle, with your home environment, with your habits.
Build habits again.
Yeah, it's like it is that kind of like that instant. The moment you get home and you can just pull the emergency brake, you just flop on the bed and melt.
Yeah, I think it's relieving at a certain point after a certain amount of
Then
weeks
you gotta get out
to
of
get
it.
home.
Yeah.
But then after a certain amount of weeks, it's actually a burden because you've got to reintegrate to your lifestyle because you finally just got used to being out. And then when you get home
True.
sometimes, like I remember one time it was like 3 months that I was gone and it was like the longest trip I'd been on. And then I
COVID.
went home and I was so excited to go home. But when I got home, the first thing I did was go outside and go to a bar and get a beer by myself. And I had never done something like that
Really?
before. I felt so uncomfortable at the thought of sitting down in my room and just doing my regular
Because you were
things.
so like go before.
I was like every day I was waking up for a call time to go cast something.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I got home and home just felt like another hotel room.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I just went to get a beer at a bar because that was actually something I would do if I was uncomfortable or not feeling like it when I was traveling or for, go out for a drink or something like that. So I think there's like a threshold.
The
interesting, yeah.
pre-COVID long stints that we used to be on would take me. I'd get home and it'd be like 5 days before I started feeling like normal and comfortable at home. And then like I'd have like a day or two of a grace period, and then my body would be like, "All right, what's next? Like, why are you not on a plane? Why are you not traveling somewhere? Why are you? What's you don't have nothing to do? Seriously? Like, go do something." Then it was just weird being home.
And you don't get that now.
No, no. Not at all. I might after this one. I think this is the longest I've been away from home since Pro League last year.
Get
Pro League
home,
RMRs,
change
yeah.
a diaper
Yeah,
immediately.
changed like 5 diapers.
Yeah.
How does travel feel now that you're a father? What's one of the big changes that you feel when you travel or when you're home? Something that you've really like noticed popped up?
Nothing like super different, but I mean, like the videos that Jane sends about with like the baby and everything, it's like those ones hit a little bit
yeah.
harder. Those ones like are a
It's
little
not the
bit
same
of
as
like
like
a
videos of
jack.
dogs,
Yeah, well, like the dogs you miss, but like not in the same way as like a baby,
Yeah.
right? And like, look, I want to see him, but it does like every time you see one, you're just like, fuck, like that'd be cool to be home.
Yeah.
Like I think like Jane's been trying to make her giggle, and she's getting there.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, she's gonna giggle when I'm
Yeah,
gone.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff right there. Like I don't even know if I'll ever be in that position that you found yourself in. One of the selfish
I think
reasons
someone will like you enough.
I hope so. Yeah. One of the selfish reasons that I do want kids is to know what it feels.
Build a Counter-Strike team.
No. No. To know what it feels like to love another human being unconditionally. Because with a partner, right, like that's an active like choice. Like you, maybe some people they are together for so long that you start to feel that same kind of like just natural protection over that being. But like even with my niece, who I got to meet for the first time at Christmas. My sister had her early last year, and then I got to meet her at Christmas when I was home.
You only like her when she gives you money?
Yeah. My sister or my niece?
Your niece, I don't know.
I don't know.
Not unconditional as always.
No, but we were out in public, and she was getting pushed around in the pram, and there was like dogs around, and I was like the dogs are at the same height as the fucking kid. Like, what are we doing? Like, I was like, standing between the dog and it didn't
feel a little protective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like having a kid, I imagine, is like that, but times 100. Being protective of your kid from getting eaten by dogs. Does that sound about right, Jason?
I haven't been in a situation where I felt like my daughter was in like all that much danger yet.
Okay. All right. Well, you let me know when that happens.
What kind of animals you got in Grand Rapids?
Well, we have 2 dogs, and I have been like,
the cutest
shielding
dogs
a
in the
little
world.
bit. Yeah, they're not like they took a liking to her immediately, but like that first like week home where we didn't know how the dogs would react to the baby was a little body block a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Get your elbows out.
Would you guys like to know call times tomorrow?
Yeah. Sure. What's mine? No, let's start with you guys.
Wait, where is yours? Oh, here we go. Moses, 10:45.
That's
not
not
bad.
bad. That's not bad at
It's
all.
like that any day of the week.
Wait, don't we get live at 11:30?
I thought so.
How can your call time
Let's
be?
not ask questions.
Jason will be on the
Why
10:45
I'm
shuttle.
guessing. Wait, why are Harry and Anders are 10:30, and Hugo and I are 10:45?
Well, maybe it's for makeup. Don't fucking question
Well,
it,
that's
Jason.
so I bet you that's call time. I bet you that's not shuttle
Oh,
time.
9:45 leave hotel and
Yeah.
makeup is 10:40.
I misread.
Yeah.
I thank God you didn't listen
Yeah,
to me.
geez. Woo.
Okay,
That
so
would have been funny though.
Still, I was thinking, anything before 9 would have been a tragedy.
Yeah.
Would have been.
So in my run of show here for tonight's obviously well-structured podcast, I had more comfortable with first name or alias. We covered that.
We've never had a.
Can I double back to that quickly?
Yeah.
I think for me to transition away from Launders, I used Mo first.
Okay.
Mo.
Yeah, some people call me
And
Mo.
we got to Mohan after.
Do you think like of The Simpsons when you're calling him Mo?
I did it first.
Yeah. Do you want to prank
Yeah.
call him?
No.
The beer belly bartender.
Yeah.
Talk about
no.
Seymour Butts?
Hey Mo,
Yo,
could
Mo.
you grab me a beer? Speaking of Mo bartenders.
Yeah, Mo. Plus, it's, one
Yeah,
syllables,
that's
dude. I like
true.
one syllables,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know enough Joes.
Okay. Or
Gently.
Yeah.
Into the lime you spit up.
You are.
Wait, this is my line, right?
It's everyone's line.
No, this bit I spat up.
Oh yeah, that's yours.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Mohan spat up all the limes.
Mohan.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Here we go. He's on. Let me finish this shit. He's on the prowl.
Yeah. Oh my god. Uh-oh. He's having a problem. So what's next in the rundown? We got call times.
Yeah, we got call times. The next thing in the rundown, as I've written here, Jason.
Yeah.
Blast major inside info. The goss spill the tea. That's literally what I wrote. Is this a beer break?
So I got so distracted.
No, it's
by the
okay. It's
movement
all right.
of
I'll read
beer
it again.
bottles.
I'll read it again.
And
This-
I feel like I just complicated that more than I helped as well by being a
it's all right.
middleman.
It's all right. It's all good.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
Wait, how many beers did you grab?
4.
Everyone looked empty.
Oh yeah, I can't count.
4, 5, 6.
There are 4 of us here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You guys went to the supermarket to purchase these.
Yeah.
And I picked Coronas out because when you had Kerrigan on at
Yes.
your apartment,
Yes.
you guys were drinking Coronas.
Yeah.
So I thought,
That's nice.
let's keep it consistent.
Carrigan didn't have a beer though.
Nope.
No.
Does he not drink? Or was it just that?
I don't know. Was he still playing? Maybe he had a game, and that was why. I don't know.
Okay.
That could have been it.
Damn, I wish I had that discipline.
Right.
And shout out Yanko in his absence. He had really good bartending etiquette.
Yeah.
Yanko was
Yeah,
on the
Yanko's on
drinks.
top of his game.
Yeah, he was on the drinks before they were ever ended. Brought another beer without asking.
Yep.
He was
Oh,
really
he made
smooth
me
in
get
that.
my own drinks.
I remember when we did the summit, it was with Yanko, and he kept getting up to get everyone drinks so many times that like the noise of him taking his headset coming off was just part of the stream. And so our talent manager started just bringing us buckets of beer
Yeah, there you
to
go.
sit in front of
That's a
Yanko
talent
with
manager.
ice. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
I miss those summers. Those were fun.
I mean, all-time events.
Never got to do
all-time
one.
events.
So many cool people came from like Summit, not just like well, no, not just not Counter-Strike related
came
people
out
at
of it,
all,
yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah, like all the people that we would get to meet there. Ludwig was he was friends with some of the people there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he basically a lot of the people
Wasn't he in the Tesla
work for
skit
them
with
now.
Tommy?
Yeah, he did the Tesla skit to Tommy.
Yeah.
You can watch that on YouTube. He like trolled
really
Tommy
good.
about being a Tesla salesperson.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Hotbit obviously was at a summit.
Yeah.
He was big on StarCraft interviews back in the day. Falco, who is Nick, and then Aiden, and then Slime.
Slime.
They
Yeah.
all work for Ludwig now, and they all are running.
Really?
You know,
Summit was like the last true like grassroots, true to esports operator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
before they just start taking white label shit. That's when you know the change. The change for esports companies is just doing shit because they like it.
getting
white
popular,
label, right? And then white label is where you go, fuck.
That's where the scale up happens.
Yeah, and the scariness happens too.
Yeah.
Because the fucking white label stuff, as much as it pays the bills, which is, I guess, what we're out here for, is normally the most disingenuous to what we're putting out there. Because you think about it, if a company is paying you to put on an esport, it's probably not a grassroots esport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fighting games, all grassroots shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I fucking love about watching. He didn't finish his beer, Jason. What are you doing?
He's fine.
All right, fair enough.
I'll get it later.
Yeah, but fighting games is a good example. Counter-Strike's another good example,
Yeah,
right?
that's why like Ludwig's company Mogul Moves partnered with Moist Esports, right, to like
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
their grassroots. And this is something that Richard talked about, where it was like, well, this might be the path to sustainability one day, where it's like a famous creator makes a team and then signs talent, and they actually have such a greater ability to sign higher, like they can punch upwards with the players that they sign, because if you go sign with this guy's Toast on his Valorant team, for example, even if he can't pay you the same amount of money that Cloud9 can, you're going to be so famous and so loved instantly. It's going to be such a fun time.
Yeah,
and
I think it's the only way for NA to get back.
and I think that these creators actually are able to be way more open about their losses, because they don't have any investors to answer to. So they can be like, listen, I can only give you half the salary. I'll tell you that right now. But if you want to join, it might be a good time. And it's the interim.
But I'm going to help you build your brand. I'm going to help you get part of my network. It's going to grow you individually.
Yeah.
You can sign your own personal individual stuff.
And if you look at the individuals out there, they're just making so much money. You know, they're making so much money that there are enough creators that if they wanted to run esports teams, they could. And it would be a nice way to get back to like a sustainable path.
Yeah.
And they actually have the ability to run massive events. Like Ludwig did a chess boxing event. He did like this Jeopardy live show. Like
Did a
I watched the
Valorant
thing
tournament
he-
as well, didn't he?
yeah, Valorant tournament. Yeah. So
that
That was
was-
the thing he
that
did with
was supposed to be
XQC, as a juicer.
Yeah.
No, just
Yeah.
me. All right, fair enough. Yeah. No, but I agree with you in the sense that like talking about that being maybe a little bit more sustainable, like because some of these bigger orgs, like I was thinking about this today. When was the last time FaZe was good? Well, it's obviously before they went public, right? Like when FaZe was
As
just
a company,
like,
not a team.
yeah, it was okay. I want to make that clear. I'm talking about
Yeah,
their
yeah.
entire business, not just their, you know,
it's when-
it's when it's a group of bros and the people at home like, oh shit, like these guys are cool. I want to be part of this. Like, and then they go, well, let's get a Counter-Strike team to extend our reach here and sell more apparel. Right? I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Sweaters.
Mo's got on some of his. So
I have
there we
that
go.
shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got on some of his apparel today.
I've been breaking in your slides.
yeah, I saw them in the photo.
Yeah, they're my house
The
shoes.
cable management photo.
Yeah, you like that?
the
Yeah,
cable
that's good.
management, was it good or bad cable management?
Oh, it's horror. It's
Bro,
horrendous.
he had a Scarlet underneath his desk.
Yeah.
He had
Which
an
is,
audio mixer plugged in underneath his desk.
It's
on
not
the
being
ground.
used. It's not being used.
Is that why your mic is dog shit every time
No,
we
it's.
fucking
I
do
just
a
said
podcast?
it's not being used. Is it not dog shit
another
every
L
time?
for
No one's
Jason.
complaining.
Think about
Yeah.
all the audio issues we had with you in the beginning. Every time you and I did a podcast when we
No,
were
that's
doing
because
that.
that's because I didn't have that.
What about when we were doing that thing with Richard? The fucking all the different years, Counter-Strike,
Yeah, yeah.
bracket.
Time travel.
That's the one.
No, that's because the Scarlet apparently has an issue recording on Discord. Like it tweaks out after
So
a
that's
certain amount of
very
time.
niche.
Scarlet, Scarlet is sketchy.
It is
Just-
sketchy.
It is sketchy. Yeah.
It's a shame.
Okay.
Didn't
I
you?
guess
Didn't
we're
you
not
just?
getting sponsored by Scarlet anytime soon.
Sorry, guys.
Shout out to Scarlett.
Didn't you just record something with the wrong microphone as well?
Oh.
No, when I first got this,
Oh.
when I first got this microphone, so this is like speaking directly into the top, right? But on the other one, the
Yeah,
Shure
yeah.
that you can do just the other one that's only XLR, I was talking into the side. But I thought that this one I could talk into the side too.
you didn't
so
realize
I
it
did
was
the
top
first
end.
episode like this.
Have you tried this?
No,
Have you had a look at this before?
I've seen
Take
it.
the sleeve off,
I've seen it,
Jason.
yeah, we're-
Things
we're
are better roll.
circumcising the
Things are
microphone.
better roll.
Jason, whisper something.
It's just like you,
Hello,
Jason.
everybody.
So there you go. All right, let's talk about the Counter-Strike.
That was
first of all.
fun.
I fucking derailed us so hard.
Welcome to Talking Counter, ladies and gentlemen.
We're ready to get started.
No, but seriously, like this is a fun one, and this is one that I've spoken about. Yes. Say it.
Okay, can we just limit the FaZe Monty thing to like 30 minutes instead of 40 minutes?
I was thinking 45.
Okay, sure.
For the record, I think everybody here has Monty, not FaZe. I listened to that argument between you and Yanko.
Yeah.
I'm on your side.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, me too.
Division here.
I didn't listen to it,
Just
but
to
I just
cut to
have
the
If you had to
chase?
put odds on the
the
upset,
odds. I would put Monty at like 2.5.
no, do like 60-40, 70-30.
Yeah, so like 40-60.
Okay.
Yeah,
45-55.
something like
So
that.
pretty close to
Best
me.
of one.
too.
Yeah, best of one.
I think if I had started with a
Dude.
different, if I had said like 70-30, they would have gone 70-30
I mean,
70, wait, sorry, 70-30 in favor of Monty?
in favor of FaZe.
oh no.
I mean, yeah,
I think,
mean,
dude, I
that's
think
probably
FaZe
around
let that go to
30-40.
Mirage best of one, and Boros is gonna run up Connector every single round.
Yeah.
If they ego pick Mirage, they should get eliminated from the challenger stage.
Dude, if it wasn't for the sacrifice of NA, they're not even here. They're
True.
not even here.
But here's the thing, right? Like, I didn't want to talk about this. Just quickly though.
Jason brought it up.
Monty the high seed. They can
Yeah.
force
Yeah.
FaZe either way they want in the veto. Like you
Yeah.
can either pick the map or pick the side, and like Monty can do whatever the fuck they want there. And I don't think any team is infallible at this event. No one is
No,
godlike.
no.
No one
No,
is
no,
untouchable.
Yeah.
Everybody can lose.
And challengers harder than legends as it stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legends, you look at it and you go, what the fuck am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
what
know,
the
you
hell
think
happened?
they had too many fucking coronas.
Yeah.
That's probably what
Way
happened
too
there.
many runners.
But where I did want to go with this, and this is another, we were talking like sentimental stuff before. Well, we weren't talking sentimental. We were talking about
Real
about
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is real shit. Like, so you know, and if Connor's apparently been listening, this last major stuff, right? Right. This for me, it's interesting. No, because I give it a lot of thought. This right because it's for one thing I can acknowledge very quickly. It's a very good marketing standpoint for anybody. Right, anybody in this position would run with the same narrative. So I have no qualms from that standpoint. Like I completely get that. But when I hear all of like the last major, for me the thing is you've got to. For me, I take it as this people think this is the end. I think that if you're a player, it's very easy to think that way because the future is uncertain. What Dallas and what are Washington going to be played on? When is the game getting released? Is it going to be Cologne? Is it going to be after the break?
Well,
is this the last chance I have to win in CSGO?
Well, it's the one thing that I thought I was going a little bit different direction, but the one thing that's for sure is that it's the last chance for a CS:GO major.
Yes.
Which for specific storylines is really important.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to I spent the last couple of weeks talking to as many people as I could about this to make sure that I had every kind of potential narrative of like who's the GOAT, who could have a one chance to whatever, because the major for certain players does actually dictate what the entire story is for their career in the game.
Okay.
Whereas like another S tier event but not a major wouldn't, I don't think, change
Have the
it.
same
Yeah,
impact.
no, the same way.
So who do you think gets affected most, like player wise, by an event like this with that framing?
Nico.
So
He's one of them,
So
for
that's
sure,
one of them.
yeah.
So
Zywoo.
Nico, so Zywoo. Okay, I mean quickly like Zywoo. 4 years, top 2 average, won every MVP for Vitality. Potentially could win a major. Have one major, just like simple. Have arguably a even more impressive pound for pound career. Less chances to play at majors.
Wait.
Pound for pound in terms of the amount of time, but overall not as many accomplishments, right? So that's just the thing. Right now, Simple has 3 out of 4 major finals that he didn't play that well in. He has the one major, but a longer career that didn't have his no one's had a top 2 average, whatever. But of course, I'm not saying that it's gonna suddenly be like Zywoo is now the go, but it does make it muddy, and I think that people and having the last word in terms of the last major. The recency bias is going to be unbelievable in terms of how many people are going to be arguing one way or the other who just watched recently. Okay, so that's Zywoo. Kerrigan versus Nico potentially in the or Kerrigan winning the final. Like for me, I've always sided towards Glavis the GOAT. If Kerrigan wins a second major on top of his other arguments, the variety of teams he won with, winning a major with an international lineup, having longevity and consistency throughout all these whatever, then maybe for me, I would actually think about Kerrigan as the GOAT.
For me, there's the bounce back, right? That's one of the keys in this argument here. And because the thing with Kerrigan, and one of the things that I was talking about in the lead up to them winning Pro League was like the dip off. And then normally the roster change happens, right? Like Kerrigan can only lead this team to be
honeymoon
successful for the first, 6 to 8 months or whatever the fuck it is. Like the 2017, or was it 2018 version of FaZe? Whichever one it was. The one
Even with Astralis.
Cloud9 fate, like
2018
was a peak.
2017 then, yeah. But the one going into 2018, that one, yeah, who were like dominant in New York and whatnot. And then the drop off, and then the roster changes, and then everything falls apart, and then having to go to a new team. So if Kerrigan, with the same roster that he won the major with this time last year, right, is able to then come out of this last 6 months of despair, even with the Intel Grand Slam win. Like, they're very clear about the narrative they set. This is the coolest thing about Carrigan, is the narrative that he sets. Because he's one of the very few people that we have in this community, from a player perspective, who set the narrative. Oh, yeah,
he understands.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, we won
value.
Cologne, Katowice, the major. Like, no one else has done that. Like, he fucking gets that.
Yeah,
and
which
like,
is great.
Like, the more you could get that, and I understand it's difficult. Not everybody can do that. Not everyone else is in a position to do that. But the more people that are willing to, like, at least give us their framing, it does a lot for us as the storyteller, right? Because we can run with their framing. Yeah, Carrigan said this. Yeah, and then you can use that as part of it. But yeah, the bounce back for me is probably one of the keys if Carrigan is to win his second major. Like the fact that they did turn it around with this roster and that didn't just fizzle out.
I could keep going. There's even more like
Nico's easy as well. Cadian's
Nico's easy. So Nico, I mean, I talked to Thor about this on the podcast recently. There could be an argument if Nico wins a major, we could be talking about Nico as potentially the greatest player overall in the game's history if we talk about him rifling and being the only rifler to ever be in the top 3, to be in the top 2, potentially the only person we've ever thought of to have a rifle that could have taken top 1 since, Cold Zera did it in his back-to-back years,
2015,
in late stage harder Counter-Strike with, so him getting a major is like massive. And then him getting it over Carrigan, for example, who was his old IGL who he ended up kicking at some point, is a really cool narrative. Then there's twists. If he wins a second major, now not only he's definitively the NA GOAT, but now at what point is he one of the best riflers, period, in history, regardless of North America? Does he break free from the North American storyline in total? He has the Grand Slam. He has 2 Grand Slams. He has 2 majors. He's not just come over to European team to get carried. He's actually done his fair share with being a top 2 player on the HLTV top 20 a couple of times with FaZe. Like there's arguments for him, like how good is he as a rifler compared to some of the all-time great riflers? And that only kind of comes with the major, I think.
Yeah, and Cadian doesn't have that same, like, for me, like, the Cadian one is, like, a more romantic storyline. It's not, like, legacy-defining. But,
where
like,
he started, what he went through, where he ended.
Everything he's got to go through, if he ends it with a major, would be amazing.
Especially after a second place in Rio.
Yeah, exactly.
But if Dupree wins a major, he'll have the most majors.
Winningest.
With 5
most decorated.
and attended all majors
Which
as
is
well.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy to think of.
Magisk would get forward.
Would tie with the rest of Astralis.
Yeah, so that would be kind of cool in that regard as well. You mentioned, we're saying
Spinks would be the first Middle Eastern major champion.
True. Yeah, that's true as well. So
I mean, all of the Vitality guys have an angle.
Na'Vi is more just about simple, right?
Yeah, so simple, like just like talking about Zaiwu, if he muddies the waters on the debate, even though it's probably still simple, we'll just say that he's got the 2 majors, that career, 2018 probably the greatest peak year we've ever seen for a player in general, and that second major right at the end. And we don't get to talk about this stuff when we're doing broadcasts in terms of geopolitics and stuff, but like imagine the year he just had in 2022.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that he was number 1 after that.
Yeah.
And to just come back into form right for the last major as well. I mean, what can you say?
And I mean, you think about it too, like Electronic next to him as well, his second major, and then that like really cements them as one of the best pairings we've ever had in Counter-Strike. You think that'd be like the Scottie Pippen to Simples Jordan, Yeah.
I love the new bravado that Electronic
doing it as an
found.
IGL.
Yeah, and I'm sure that people have been bigging him up, but I just like it's even just the Instagram story that he put out. Like, but imagine. This is the thing. That team is.
We came here to fuck.
Wait, sorry. What is this? Which Instagram story?
He put out an Instagram story of a Rio saying like something about wanting to be one of the best in-game leaders of all time, or something along those lines, right? Yeah. But I feel like because that conversation about him, because Blade in an interview said that he thinks that Electronic is a better in-game leader than Boomich.
Surpassed Boomich.
Which why are people fucking hung up on the whole Boomich situation for? Like I really don't get it. Like for a guy who we're calling out in casts to not play sandbag on Inferno because he keeps getting naded. Like, no, seriously, right? Like, what's
but honestly,
going on?
Now everybody plays there. No, it's like kind of crazy.
He was getting fucking bombarded. The poor
when
guy.
I was
saying the same thing.
When I was in Liquid, we used to just target Boomich.
Yeah.
They were just like, he's always going to be playing like, sandbags or like car. Like he's going to be out there for us. Let's just go get him every single round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
Sad irony he was right. He had a great angle. He just wasn't as good as some of the players who stand there now. Like Nico is always up there, and he gets 2.
That's true.
Like,
That's true. Yeah, you just need to be mechanically one of the best players in the world if you want to play that position, right? Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, true.
I just look at like all of this landscape, right? And HLTV put out some fun pictures of players who were in 2013 at DreamHack, and then like what they like now.
Later.
Yeah, and I think Pimp and Maniac featured in that.
Yep.
And it's so crazy to think this is again and. Machine Alex has been big on this in recent time, talking about like the human side of Counter-Strike, like just Counter-Strike in general. The reason we love it is because it allows you as a person to express yourself, right? Everyone has the same tools. It's just how you kind of use that brush. But then you think about like this is the 10-year thing as well. That's the 10 years is a fucking big chunk of someone's life.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of what happened from when I was born to 10. That's gone. So I'm 33. So I've got 23 years. And of that, 10 of them have been CSGO. Mm-hmm. And the majority of the other fucking 10 or 13 or whatever it is were also Counter-Strike. Yeah. It's like 10 years of just this one game. And it's been when I've been fortunate enough to either be playing or working to constantly be throughout the circuit. Mm-hmm. This has been a part of my life, like Counter-Strike, for a much longer time. But CSGO, I've been with it since the very beginning. And like the whole time, and we're fucking 10 years deep. And that's the same with so many other people and players. And it's so like this Dupree story, the more you think about it, the more mental it becomes. Like the more absurd it is to think like he's the one, the only player. Like I know we've over the last years we've been, oh yeah, this guy's gone, this guy didn't make it, this, that. But it's wild to think that somebody made it for an entire decade. For 10 years worth of a competitive game. This guy.
Yeah. Seen
played,
every meta and qualified there.
Yeah. Even considering like the bullshit that, you know, like this, some of the storylines between him and his life and what's gone on and in catalyst moments and everything like that. It's like this is it, like that right there is crazy.
It's been a long time too since he was like the name on a team.
Yeah,
like it was early with the Device and Dupree combo, but like even when Astralis was at their peak, like we all knew Dupree was good, but it was Glaive as an in-game leader, Zonic as a coach, Device as the opera and the star.
People also forget Glaive was number 6 in the world that year.
Right?
Yeah.
That was such a stacked
Astralis.
Astralis.
Believe that these
Times
days,
change.
You know, that was possible.
That was a crazy year though when Astralis were that dominant. I don't think anybody will ever touch like that level of dominance.
No, we haven't.
Not for that long.
I've been saying that the last time the number 1 team on HLTV mattered was Antwerp with FaZe, and then after that, it's the number 1 team in the world hasn't really existed.
Yeah, no, that's
the closest we got was G2 at the beginning of the year, where they had like set all those map streaks, and they won the world final.
Felt like it was coming
back.
Felt like we were.
But that was, you know, that was just like very short lived.
Yeah.
Still impressive, of course.
It's hard to make.
It just
those
shows how hard it is.
Yeah. It's hard to make.
But it's expected. Like, don't you feel that it's expected from the community sentiment that we have a best team?
It's because it's like the tradition, right?
It's a lingering effect of what the past
I
has
like
been,
dominance. I mean, I think it shows how hard the game is if we have dominance. If we don't, because I don't believe that teams aren't trying hard enough, and that's why we have parity. I just believe that the game's ceiling is starting to actually be reached when I didn't think that was at all possible. And that dominance, I think, was a lot easier, and then it got harder as everything got more optimized. Ultimately, a lot of it comes down to the maps.
Well, and remember, too, leading up to COVID, every year had an era. Every year is designated as an era. The NIP era, the Fnatic era.
Yeah. Ending with Astralis. If you want to say Na'Vi, but that was a very weak year.
Short.
In Vitality were the second best team in 2021.
There were
they won
signs
one
of
event, you know. So Na'Vi had kind of a weak field, and 6 months maybe. Everyone wanted an era so bad that they were willing to like say, "This is
everyone's
the era."
Been shoehorning the era.
Yeah.
It's like a sign of that time coming to an end, right? Even though like the Liquid Intel Grand Slam run, same deal, right? Like we're just getting towards shorter stints, and then one would be a little long, but it's like been wishy-washy. To transition, I think this is what. So if what started this conversation was the idea of like the last CS:GO major and how much that really matters, or whatever not, and how it could, like you said, define the end of certain people's stories for CS:GO. I think the release of CS2 creates an opportunity. As far as we know, if the skill ceiling is being reached and that's what's causing the shortage of eras and consistency, there could be a team that just goes way further than everybody else when this next game releases.
Yeah,
right?
and it's going to be interesting if it's a tier 1 team.
We don't know who's going to drop off, right?
Team.
We don't know.
He is going to nerd the fuck out, isn't he?
Yeah, completely open skyboxes, different game, different movement. We don't know. You know, for all we know, what if Nico falls off? What if Nico's career from, you know, what if all these players just don't transition as well as maybe we're expecting them to, right? There's no certainty. And I think the lack of that certainty, since we haven't seen a single tournament of this game, and from what it feels like, it's just going to all transition in a blink of an eye. At that point, well, what if some of the best individuals in CSGO don't have that feel?
Yeah.
Think about when Kenny S's op changed.
Yeah.
Kenny S changed.
Same
All of a sudden, if this
that
game,
poor guy got targeted.
Seriously, that was the most targeted.
Yeah. So like, if this
harassment,
if that happens, you know, the way I see the change, because I do feel like at times it's a marketing element to this major, that it's the last CS:GO major, and I do think that there are going to be moments where that matters. Like at the end of the legend stage, to qualify for the last playoffs of a CS:GO major. that's going to matter.
Yeah.
To be in the finals, that's going to matter. The trophy lift because you've won, that's going to matter, right?
I think
to just be here also matters, but no, we got Dallas after. This isn't the last CSGO event.
That we know of.
The most
That we
annoying-
know of, right? Yeah,
the most annoying thing that we can really do, because a lot of this is sort of like a layup in terms of how amazing and epic and like all the finality that we've never had before, is just say like last too many times. But like, you know, if it's like ITB get eliminated from the Legends stage, do we go, it was the last chance for them at a major to qualify? Like, no, we save it for like the bigger storylines and the teams who have really been journeymen in the scene.
But that point you bring up here is the key point of all of it, right? Like, I think if you're in the trenches and you're looking at this layer from a player perspective, if you're looking at it from a player, somebody in there with the X's and the O's every day, putting in 6 to 12 hours worth of Counter-Strike and the feels of it all and the team and everything they built, then from that angle, I can see the ambiguity being bred, because you don't know if, like you just mentioned, if you're still going to be the same Nico or the same whoever. You also might be at a point where you were already considering, what does the future hold for me? And maybe this is a perfect pivot point for you to try and look for something new. So you have those factors all kind of operating at the same time from a player perspective. What you also have, though, is from a broader Counter-Strike landscape perspective, the future is secure. Run for 10 years, right? Before that, she also ran for 10 years.
Yep.
And we had 10 years of the game developer, quote, I don't know, no, remove that quote, endorsing the tournament, right? Because they put things in place for us to be able, and they're going to continue to do that when we move into CS2 with the first major of next year, right? So for me, as a Counter-Strike person, someone who's been involved in the game and seen 1.5 into 1.6, CZ, Source, CSGO, right? Like that's, I played a little on 1.3, but whatever. That's fucking ancient history. To see that,
I loved 1.3.
it was
you
great.
would
Yeah, I
have
loved
liked 1.3.
it.
Did
It
you
was
play
B-hopping
it?
was
The bunny
fucking
hopping
nuts,
was
man.
nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild, man.
But that stretch,
man.
right? That's
Yeah, man, sick.
that stretch of like Counter-Strike, it's not stopping. This story from where it's commenced to where it is now will continue. More chapters, more books, more everything can be written.
Yep.
But for the players, for them, this might actually feel like their last opportunity with the tool set that they now have equipped that they can win a major.
Yeah.
And that right there is, you know, that both things exist at the same time. Counter-Strike's future is secure,
but
also the future of these competitors right now is not. And this means more than it may have 12 months ago.
do you remember when I think the timing was around when Rops was like making his rise on FPL and was becoming like a
So late 2017, yeah.
and with the conversation was around like, I think you initiated the conversation around like the pure CS:GO players.
Yeah.
And do you think CS2 is different enough?
No. Well,
No.
that's the problem. We don't know what it looks like fully released,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
what
yeah.
we
We don't
know
really
about
know.
it now,
Now?
I would say no.
It doesn't seem like that transition is
No.
going to be nearly as harsh.
No.
Not as harsh, but it. I think. I guess I would say I feel my prediction would be there's going to be certain players that just have a little bit too much experience that are not going to be willing
There's
to
gonna be older
learn
players.
every
Yes.
little
Yeah.
detail in the
Yes.
same way as some of the
Yeah, the older
will.
players will phase out over like the first like 1 or 2 years. I
Yeah,
imagine.
like I personally just see Mondesi just instantly being the best player in the world and everyone just trying to follow and
Yeah.
keep up with him, and him just sort of like showing how much you can get out of the details of
Do
the
you,
new game.
do you think for somebody though like Simple, who's probably feeling like he's done it all, right? Do you think that the fire of learning new details is going to be enough to
that
keep
one's
him
hard.
I think he loves the game, but he's going to be in the second half of his career, right?
True.
Well,
He's on the back nine. Yeah.
Also, we've been talking. It's felt like to me, at least, since they won that major. I guess like since also the war broke out, where like his detention and his just
it's
his
changed
same
recently.
motivation. Yeah,
It's changed recently.
He's gone back.
He's
He's been working out.
yeah. No, but seriously,
Sit in the gym.
Yeah,
He's started to do more things like that are.
And the stats. I mean, the stats are looking
Yeah, the
fucking
stats are low, yeah.
phenomenal again.
He's
But like you know,
definitely
like
made a
it
switch.
felt like there was a moment there where like his grinding mentality. Like we used to always see, he used to lose like majors in the quarterfinals, and he was going to play an FPL like later that night.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like we stopped seeing that in the past year. So
Oh,
I'm curious if
at
that's going to come
Lisbon,
back.
There was like a rumor that he didn't have any hours on Steam, and then came into Lisbon, and then they won, or like Blast Lisbon in like July. And it was like, at what point is this going to catch up with you? We know
However,
you're really
yeah.
good.
Well, that's like the Crims thing. Crims had a tournament like that way back in the
Yeah.
day too.
But and it's just he's played so long. He
Yeah.
kind of actually Simple made the same comment about Forrest. He's like Forrest has his favorite player, and he said he's played so long he could probably take any break and then still come back and be as good as ever because he's just done that for so long. But at the elite level, at a certain point, it's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
And I think he did like He wasn't in a good place for a long time. He definitely wasn't putting in the same amount of hours. Survived it, got number 1 in the fucking year.
Yeah.
and now it's starting to try again just in time to like catch up. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the scary thing about Simple, right? Like, and if they come through and win here, and he needs to play like a superstar for them to win. Yeah. I don't think this Na'Vi just playing like a team is enough. Like, I think Simple needs like elite level numbers for them.
How old
to.
is Simple now? 27?
24? What?
Wow,
27?
Is that young?
He's not 20. Wait, is he 20?
24 or 25, I think.
Whoa, I don't have a guess here. 26?
Yeah, don't think 27 is that crazy. He gets 26, you don't even fucking react.
I reckon he's only 24. You got a guess, Connor?
I said 25.
He's just been playing for
27 might have been.
25.
25.
okay.
25. Yeah.
So,
27?
I don't know, man.
Device is 27.
That's weird to me. It's weird thinking, like, you just were amazed, like, the whole 10-year thing. It is so weird to, like, think that when, like, 10 years ago, I was 26.
Yes.
And the Danes were all, like, 17.
Are you
18.
36?
Yeah.
that's how math works.
How old did you think Jason was?
Like 32, 33?
My man. That's the right answer. Yeah,
Damn, I got a nice compliment
I mean,
like
you got
that.
great genes.
yeah, he's one-upping me right now.
Yeah.
He got a nice compliment.
I got a nice compliment the other night
Yeah.
when the shuttle driver, which she waited for me very late into the to the airport. Very nice, right? Like, she was getting paid to do it, but I still thanked her profusely for
Did you
waiting
tip
for
her?
me. No, I didn't.
After
tip
this
her.
compliment?
No.
Okay.
But so I'm in the back of the car and we're driving and I saw a sign for Disneyland. I was like, oh shit, I forgot you guys got Disneyland here. And she's like, yeah, it's the anniversary of this, that, the other. I was like, oh shit, it's been like 10 years since I've been here. And she was like, when you were a kid? And I was like, no, I'm 33. And she's like, what? She's like, I thought you were like 23 or 24. I was like, you fucking, the hair transplant really works.
I was gonna say, bald man never gets that compliment.
Sure.
Bald man never gets that compliment.
But you got a compliment live and in the flesh.
Yeah.
So maybe that means more.
Sure.
For me, I don't even know her name.
You knew her name. Cheryl, wasn't it? With
Oh,
an
it
S.
was with an S.
With an S.
Cheryl with an S. He's right.
Aren't they always with an S?
I don't know. I
Give
thought
me a
it-
chair.
No, there's a C with Cheryl.
Okay.
Do
Sorry, I'm from French Canada.
Larry
They're
David-
all S's in French Canada.
Is
dude,
it Larry
yes.
David's wife?
Yeah.
In Curry Enthusiasm, Cheryl? With a
Back
C?
to Larry David.
Yeah, we full circle.
Yeah, we've come all the way around. We're looking at Simple's age being 20. I am just looking at like how many fucking like trophies on his.
He's just been
profile.
playing. He's just been playing for so fucking long that it feels like he should be older. I mean, same with Device. Like, the device thing is mind blowing too.
But who else is still like who else do we remember from the very like okay so Apex? How old's Apex? Apex has to be 30, right?
He's at least 30.
29.
29.
Apex is 30.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Really?
Carrigan's 33.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But Carrigan was playing 1.6.
He's playing 1.6.
Yeah.
He's
He was a star player. at
He's a
1.6.
star player.
Like that's the thing. Like, and then I
How
think
old's
of
Nico?
27.
27.
Same age as Justin and Hunter, I think. They're all
Okay.
around the same age. But it is crazy to, like, you contrast this, and then we work with...
G2.
Nico's like 26. JKS and Hunter are
He's
27.
got some years.
Yeah, we think about that, and then I go,
Wow, G2's average age is actually kind of like if it wasn't for
High.
Monacy, yeah, it's pretty high.
Well, I mean,
you have to win this year. Or
we've always asked the question, like, what year is like when you start turning that corner? And like those are the guys you'd expect, like the Nikos, the Simples, to like push that barrier as
Oh,
far
yeah.
as it go, right? Like,
Yeah.
like potentially
Yeah,
Nico
we
could
don't
have
get
like
to see
4
it.
more years of like
Yeah.
a really strong Nico.
And why not? They're playing
Like-
great Counter-Strike
Like
right now.
Taz was
Yeah.
the last
Even
example.
Electronic.
That's
Yeah.
not a simple. You know?
Yeah.
True.
We want one of the
greats.
goats.
One of the
Yeah,
greats.
to really get up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, Electronic. So I'm thinking like, you know,
Electronics got to
top
be
top
young.
5 HLTV top 5 players that have like consistently done it for a long time. I mean, Dupree's going to be one
He's
of
got to
them.
be 20,
Dupree's actually got,
26-ish.
and on top of all the majors and everything, Dupre's got, I think, some of the
24, isn't he?
highest amount of
He's 24.
appearances in the top 20.
Who's 24?
Who's 20?
Electronic.
He's
Only
20. What?
24.
What?
24.
Oh, he's been a dad for like 8 years.
He gets
That's actually insane.
That's true.
Yeah, if we're talking about us fucking here on Talking Counter, fucking Electronic, he knows how to get it done.
Wow, that's
At the
crazy.
gate.
Jeez.
But this is, it has to,
That's-
like for Vitality as well, Dupre's 30 and Apex is 30.
Yeah. This is the last hurrah, for sure. I think.
Kind of has to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, how, like unless they win,
Also, let's be real. This project isn't exactly going swimmingly. It's started looking good recent
at
memory.
least it's going the right
Yeah,
direction.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it only needed to be good before this major.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they hit a peak before this major. It's like
They peaked too early.
They peaked.
Oh,
they
one of
too
those
early.
early
Apex
things.
did
too
say
early.
after they won Rio that the last time they won a major or they won an event, they won a big event, they blew the next one.
Yep.
I guess that was after Pro League.
Yep.
And they said, at least now we have experience not to do that again. But we haven't seen a team win 2 events
That's
in a
not really
row
what you really good leader
since
say.
maybe phase after around Antwerp, Who's won 2
But
events
even
in a row?
then, like they went Antwerp and then they went to Dallas and lost, and then they won
yeah,
Cologne.
lost to Cloud9.
Yeah, the jet lag, bro. Everyone gave him a fucking pass for that shit.
Well, they also just won the major. Like
That's why
fucking-
Complexity lost in Australia last week.
Yeah.
We were talking about this
Just
in the
jet lag,
shuttle.
bro.
If we get back to the Counter-Strike of the specific major, I was sitting there. I was like, why is Complexity going to Australia? They're in
Yeah,
the midst of a boot
seriously.
camp. It's like 2 days of travel to get there. You're jet lagged for the 5 days you're there.
Yeah.
2 days of
And it's
2
worse
days
on
of
the
travel
way.
back,
Yeah.
and then you're jet lagged again for like 2 or 3 days. Like you just ate like.
They couldn't get out of it.
Oh, they committed
tri-
and they were stuck.
They tried to get out of it. I talked to TC when we were traveling out
Yeah.
of Monterey after the
Oh, that's
major.
fair, I
Once
guess.
they qualified for the major, he said, "Yeah, man, we're I mean, I don't know if they were trying to wiggle out."
Yeah, well,
They did
you would try,
Yeah.
especially considering you don't need the pro league spot, which was one of the qualification points. Like,
Yeah.
hey, like Bad News Eagles would love this spot.
Dude, if
Like,
they
would've
moved
been
Australia
massive.
closer, it'd be such a dope place to just do. Like,
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I reckon move Australia up next to Canada,
Yeah.
and we can hang out.
Yeah, beat like around BC, like an
Yeah.
island off BC.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, like
Where the fuck are you gonna fit Australia up there?
I wish they
fucking
space
move,
between-
move
smack
Ru-
dab in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, man.
Yeah,
Let's have a
Russia
if I
to
gotta-
the left.
going
if
on
I could have
Think
a
about that. You
layover
go,
in the
like,
middle of the
BC,
Atlantic.
Australia, Japan in like 3 hours. That'd be amazing.
What if we do this? What if we grab Russia, we move it, and we replace it with Australia, and then we put Australia where Russia is?
All right, there we go.
They wouldn't be able to deal with that heat though.
That's true, and it'd be fucking cold. Wait, can we
Yeah.
bring the climate?
They got all the Bitcoin
Nah,
farms
you
up
can't
in
be
Russia.
climate.
They
That's
could-
breaking the rules.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Ah,
I'd say
dear.
this is unrealistic though.
What,
Chad,
moving an entire country? Or two?
What were you gonna say earlier when we were talking about ages? You said, "Isn't it crazy? We work with," and then you stopped
Oh,
that sentence.
kids like Dinko and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is Dinko? Like 12?
22, I
Yeah.
think. I think it was 22.
22.
Yeah.
So
How old are Harry and Hugo? 24?
24.
20,
5.
24 and 25.
Well, we could check. Liquipedia has all their information,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Sure, the HLTV does too.
24 and 25.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Liquipedia. Harry.
But unlike
Russell.
players, commentators just keep getting better.
Yeah, we
The
ate like a
older
fine
you
wine.
get.
We don't need to go anywhere.
I love like listening to like all my favorite sports commentators,
Yeah.
NBA, NFL, and they're just like 40s,
I mean-
50s, 60s, and
Yeah.
they're just sounding better and better.
I know.
That's one. You know, they brought in. They obviously HLTV used just players for the 10-year thing. But shout out Anders Bloom, first major, last major.
yeah.
True.
He's been here as well the whole
That's
entire
true.
time.
No,
That's where
what-
the general was born.
Yeah.
Yeah? No, I
Anders,
swear they
Anders
used
Bloom.
them.
And like you're saying, dude, he just gets better. I think you and Anders casting Cologne last year. It was another peak of Anders. Like that
Yeah.
event specifically in the crowd. You know, give Anders a crowd like that, dude. He was on it in that Cologne event.
Yeah, that was a really special
And
event
it's-
for him. I remember.
That's very promising, I think, for the rest of us who are in the Dinko, Harry, my age, the mid-20s at
Sure.
the moment. Like, wow, that's what you aspire for, man. You aspire to be an Anders Bloom.
It's interesting to see which direction things kind of go, right? Like in terms of what we do as a job, because things have changed a little bit, right? Like I think obviously arena events and that is not going to change. Like, that's going to stay the same. But definitely in like the scope of our work has changed a lot over like I would say that YouTube probably have like I wouldn't say similar involvement because I don't actually know what I'm talking about, but I guess the best way would be more say. Right, within blast events and like the Launders show, for example, that you did with them, right? Like, I assume you had a lot of influence in how that all worked out, right?
Actually, so the story with that was I even before Blast, it was like in 2017 when Blast first started. I had made a deck with my boxer team to do a live show that we made 3D models for how the set would look, and we wanted to be like a Top Gear style show and stuff.
Yeah.
And we submitted the pitch deck to Blast like back in like 2017, so this exact show basically. And then I just came to Nicholas with it, and then like just didn't really answer back. And then all of a sudden they like yeah, we've got it. Here's the concept. Here's how it's gonna look. Like we'll get some guests and like run it after Blast groups, and then and they're trying to like beef up Blast TV to add
More content
reasons
onto
for
it.
people to go and
Yeah.
sign up.
I
Obviously,
think that's such a good idea that they're doing that. Like, obviously, they ran that.
like going to watch the major in 4K with no ads is like of course.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
Where else are you gonna watch it? Like
And highlights.
yeah, and the highlights has actually always been a good feature. But then the exclusive
Can you
content
explain
angle-
that feature to me as an ignorant?
The highlights is so if
Yeah.
like
Imagine you were watching a YouTube video with timestamps.
Yeah.
But the timestamps are multi-kills, clutches,
Ah.
etc. It's
So
just
on
it's
the bar,
right there in
it'll
the
be
bottom
like
bar.
It'll be like a star.
So if I joined, if I missed the first half, I could go tune in and then
And just-
and just
you
go
can see
bang
the
bang
aces,
bang.
the
Bang.
4Ks, the clutches,
you
and
hover
just
over an
click on
icon,
them.
it'll be like 1v3.
It's
and you
really
click on
nice.
it.
That's really good.
Like
Yeah.
the HLTV page has like the moments from the game,
Yeah, yeah.
except for it's in the bar of the video.
Okay.
And when you learn that, like with products like Snipe, for example, having a feature like that is not enough to get most people to
Yes.
watch your thing.
True.
But then if you do things like have a sort of Netflix thing where you have good enough exclusive content, you've seen how powerful content can be with like how shows and TVs and movies Drive to Survive, the endlessly referenced, show in esports.
Yep.
These things can actually eventually have some more pull. So Blaster really doing a good job of that.
Also, I mean, it helps too that like the main or one of the big investors behind Blast is actually like someone who wants to actively push that tech. Like that's his baby. He's like the tech of the streaming platform too. So like is very motivating for the company to do things like that versus an ESL whose primary way of making money is not a streaming platform.
It is crazy though how much tournament organizers either don't have control over or have to give up by the virtue of the way that they need to put their product out there. Like when you're giving traffic to Twitch and YouTube. Like you're giving them traffic. You're producing the whole thing. Like I don't know what the deals look like of exclusivity and stuff in the past because we know that these have existed, right? Like we had it with Facebook. We had it with YouTube. We've had it with Twitch. Obviously,
I've blacked out the Facebook years.
But when we have those moments, right, then it makes sense. You go, okay, well, this company is paying to exclusively have this on. But when they're not, when you're not exclusively, when these companies aren't exclusively paying to have this on, then you're putting it out there. You're driving users onto their platform. If they subscribe to your channel. Well, you get $2.50 and Twitch take the other fucking $2.50 of like.
Oh, it's absurd. I mean,
well, also it's also
so hard to make revenue.
The data of the viewers. The
True.
CEOs don't always have.
That's
like
true.
You like, oh, we got like 100,000 viewers on Twitch, but I don't know anything about those 100,000
No,
viewers.
don't know where they're
so
from.
How do you know how to like actually sell things to them, and how do you know how to monetize them, and how do you know what they're interested in outside of that?
So taking control of the platform, which is
It's
what
huge.
Blast is
I don't know
doing, is
what
massive.
the exact numbers would be, but like, take a streamer like Destiny, for example, like has his own site where you can subscribe on, and he's like had that for long enough that like people subscribe on YouTube and watch him there. But if you subscribe on his site, he gets 100% of that. And it's like, even if his stream is like a third of the size, he's making way more money than if he was working with Twitch or YouTube.
No one's
So
getting a cut.
The aim is not even to have the same amount of viewers on your site. It's to have like nearly as much or like half as much, and then you're still doing really well. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of us are fed up with Twitch these days. Just the ads that are always coming up. The players
There's
not that
so
great.
many ads.
YouTube is so
Six
such
ads.
an awesome
YouTube's
product.
much better to watch.
Yeah, it really is.
There's definitely, we've already seen that they're sort of getting deleveraged, and there's people more willing to explore other sites to watch.
Yeah, but back in the day, it was always about Twitch chat.
It
Twitch
was,
chat,
yeah,
Twitch chat.
seriously.
People
But
don't give
now
a
it's
fuck
not
now.
really. I don't even watch Twitch chat
Good.
anymore.
Twitch chat was always useless as hell.
Close it.
Well, yeah, you say that, but a lot of people do enjoy
Yeah,
it.
there's
too.
like a
No, it
community.
wasn't
Well,
useless,
like
but
it's
yeah.
not useless, but like when you get, I say it's useless because I don't watch like personal live streams. I watch.
Well, there's
like,
no reference
esports.
point for you of it, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
no point us just sitting there watching people spam this
Yeah,
flower
exactly.
to.
I would say it's very
fucking
useful
big
for like an
OG
individual
power. Yeah,
that's the
streamer,
one.
especially as you're growing and building up. But like when you're watching an esports event, like the Twitch chat is just like a waste.
I think it's a second form of entertainment. I think like people are there to watch the Twitch chat with Counter-Strike in the
I think you
background.
also don't
Yeah,
remember.
okay.
No way.
You also don't
Those people
remember.
don't exist.
Some people
I do
are,
think
I
they do.
reckon.
I think
agree.
more
No
if
way.
the chat is open, you can't help. I mean, because I close that to watch, and when I'm trying to process a game, stay up to if you're not casting an event yourself, you still want to watch some of the matches to see what's going
Yeah.
on. Stay in the loop. And so when you do that, but you open it and the Twitch chat opens, I'm just inclined. The game's there, but I'll watch the Twitch chat. Just to see how it's going.
Yeah.
You see people arguing with each other over the most
Oh, bro, I
minute little
close that
details.
shit so
Exactly,
fast.
that's what I mean. But if you
it's your
don't
first
close
time
it,
on Twitch,
it
that
draws
shit
your
is
attention.
Insane.
It draws your
chat is the
attention
craziest part
instantly.
about the product for sure.
That's true.
Seeing that many people all contributing to
Yeah.
what, there's nothing else like that on the internet. That's
crazy.
IRC moving faster than it's ever moved.
And are those people, if you're one of us and your intent is to stay informed about the Counter-Strike, well then you want to watch everything, positioning, placement, it's like tactics, rotations. You want to watch those slow moments of every round. But if you're just watching it for the sake of it's on your second monitor while you're at work, or it's on your phone in front of you while you're at, if it's a distraction more than anything, well, the most distracting thing about an esports stream, it's Twitch chat.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, but that culture's.
it's a simultaneous form of entertainment.
I wouldn't say the culture's dead, but I think there's now a large enough group of people that aren't discouraged to try a new platform because they don't have the Twitch chat. Yeah. I think that and I think there's obviously a lot of fun ways that these TOs can incentivize things, like doing the Face It points drops, because we know people love drops in Twitch chat and everything like that. But I think narrowing down and looking at where we're heading, we went in for rehearsal today, right? We all went in on the 2 p.m. shuttle. Yeah, it was only Anders who went on
Anders
the 1
went
p.m.
in.
Sam went in.
And he was the best dressed.
He was the best dressed.
Good on Anders.
He took dress rehearsal very seriously.
Very seriously.
And you just talked about how he was at the first major. He's been in this industry for a long time. I don't think we've ever done an actual dress rehearsal.
Nope.
No, but
So he
10
just
years,
showed,
baby.
He showed up in a suit, and I was just like, What?
The only time that I know of a dress rehearsal is at my mum's dancing concerts when it was dress rehearsal time and some mum hadn't sewn the fucking sequins in correctly, so they got scolded.
Damn it, Susan.
Right? It's like they'd get fucking wrecked. They'd get in trouble. That's the only time I know a dress rehearsal is when they rock up full costume to do their fucking dance recital, tap dance and jazz, acrobatics. Jason, you want some Spanish dancing? We got fucking that in there as well. We got it all. You want to check it out? That is Dance in Perspective, Perth, Western Australia.
Nice plug.
You can go ahead out. Yeah, go. How many people from Perth listen to this fucking podcast?
I would love it.
There's one guy who's going to show his mom this moment.
My sister manages the website, so let's
Shout
go.
out to the SPUNJ family.
But yeah, like the direction we're going with this major, we covered the last thing. We're talking a bit about Blast right now. We saw what the setup is like today. We get to see what the room is like. I want to say this word. There is no negative intention meant at all when I say this word. I just want to make that very clear. I think it's very raw, like in the best possible way. Because the thing, when I'm always on the phone to people and fucking Carmack's fed up of listening to my dog shit voice messages, but the thing that I'm constantly pushing is like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Is the whole concept with this to put on a concert that's video games? Is that what we're doing? Or is it the competition of Counter-Strike and what this was built upon when people were playing in LAN cafes or BYOCs and stuff, and what it's kind of now grown to is like a bit more on stage and a bit more presented like that, and it makes sense, right? It's a product. But the true thing with Counter-Strike is that competition, right? Like any competition, the most core thing, first of all, needs to be that, right? That's the focus. And I'm looking at where we're going with all this, and this is why I like the setup we have in there, because it's raw. You rock up, you plug your shit in, you can see your opponent, you're in the same room, everything's the same. There's no weird shit. There's no. It's just raw competition, and as long as those those like minimum things are met, that's great. And I think here, normally we have situations where it's like hotel different conference rooms and you can't see all the players in the same space. You see all the players in the same space. When people tune in tomorrow, they're going to get the vibe that things are happening because people are going to be fucking everywhere. Players walking past, player managers, admins, people plugging in, people unplugging.
The desk open to the tournament area is very nice.
It's nice, right? Like it's simple, but it's nice, right? It's not pyrotechnics and crazy screens. It's what I want. I want to see the players. And I want to see them for as long as possible. Preferably leave them on screen the entire time.
All the emotions.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think we're in a really good spot and the location's nice. There's lots of trees around. So the oxygen, just so Maui's predictions actually on Zion.
Air quality is important.
Air quality's good.
Yeah.
The air quality was fantastic in Rio.
Really?
The Day Vitality one. Fantastic.
Wow. Okay. And I didn't read I haven't been reading the reports.
I haven't either.
I've been more into horoscopes
But since
lately.
I got here, actually the air quality index shows up on my phone lock
Really?
screen. Yeah.
What's it like?
I don't know.
Oh, well, all right, fair enough. I thought you.
I did sell you a dream.
I think what this setup
Wait, it's
reminds
not
me
there
of.
anymore.
The setup is great. It reminds me a lot of the Hall of Heroes at IEM Katowice.
Okay.
Except for ESL had more bells and whistles.
Yeah.
They had the hanging flying camera that would go over top. So we got the spider cam. We get the top down views of everything. The desk was simply elevated on a stage at the end of it, as opposed to just being a round table in the middle of the floor.
Sure.
So
spoilers, Connor. They haven't seen the setup yet.
they're about to.
Yeah, in
tune in tomorrow.
12 hours.
Yeah, Blast TV, 4K and no ads.
Honestly, it's a great selling.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
It
it is good.
No
But-
ads? Hold on.
Yeah, that's it.
It's lacking some of the bells and whistles, but I think those bells and whistles come with the fact that the Hall of Heroes was in Katowice, where ESL have their studio.
Yeah.
It's like Blast could have made a setup just like the one we have right now. If they had put this setup in their Copenhagen studio,
It would have had the.
it would have looked the same as Hall of Heroes,
Few more
which
resources,
I think was my favorite event of the year so far.
Okay.
In terms of like opening group stages, where we just need to whittle down teams to get to the playoffs.
But it still feels intense too when you throw it in that hole.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I was watching that tournament from home, and it feels intense when you see something like
also,
that. Also,
the difference there was in Katowice they played facing each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
This setup is not facing each other.
Yeah, they're like,
Staggered.
one.
They're parallel.
It's
Yeah,
1,
bang,
2,
bang.
3, 4 setups, and one plays 3, and
Yeah.
2 plays 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, again, you're missing out slightly on that.
And the only reason
Wait, sorry, are they beside each other or are they across from each other?
No,
There's one team between them.
Yeah. If there's four setups on one side, on the left side of the room,
Yeah.
the teams competing will be in booth 1 and booth 3.
Oh, I see.
And then the other game will be booth 2 and booth 4.
This is the issue, right? And
And they did that because they didn't have the glass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's another way to fix that.
But if they were in Copenhagen, they'd have that glass.
Yeah. The home court advantage is fucking huge. I don't think people realize, like, just sourcing things, like being able to speak to people in your native tongue and know who to call and know, actually, more than that, where to look. Like, when you come to a new place, like, looking for things and not knowing it can be really difficult. My other solution with the glass is, shut the fuck up, is,
yeah, Jason.
really bright lights.
Shut the fuck up.
Really bright lights coming either out of the floor or coming down. So when I look across at you, imagine between us, there was these really bright lights. So it wasn't affecting me while I'm looking at my screen. But if I was to look at you, you look washed out no matter what.
Surely that messes up like cameras though.
Probably.
On players' faces.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something here.
You
saw what happened. We had a fucking mechanical barrier in Rio and shit, and that thing fucking got stuck, and there was a lot of feel. The glass is the best, right?
Glass is the best.
The glass is the best. And the best thing with that is it's been used for a long time. The technology is simple. It's been used in bathrooms forever. Just fucking bang. It's really cool. That is a little look. If they were facing each other and we had some form of barrier to remove it, for me, that and I know it's not possible, but I would love that to become the S tier industry standard for group stages.
I still want to run a tournament where they're facing each other, but put them in there.
We can't do that, man.
Yeah, you can.
With Ace Zone headphones,
I just like
you
saying
can.
that was disgusting, but
Yeah, I didn't mean to make it like that, but it just kind of happened.
Would you have the glass?
so wait, sorry. When you mean put them like really close,
Tight.
Yeah.
Imagine this
Yeah.
is my desk,
Like back
and
to
your
back.
desk
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
there,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
standing up and fucking
like literally your local LAN.
Yeah.
yeah. That.
But I mean, I feel like you could put a barrier to the top of monitors, right?
We'll call
'Cause
it
the whole
water
thing
bottle
is like
distance.
no one wants to see the flashbangs go off or something
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that. Like,
Yeah.
Shazam.
but give them the chance to like have them stand up and like talk some smack. Like that's all you have to do. If you're
So you want to give them like in ears and over thing for full noise cancelling?
I mean, I personally don't give a fuck about that, but sure.
Yeah, you'll give a fuck when your team is calling in
Yeah.
Yeah.
English,
Yeah.
and the other team on the other side are talking in, I don't know, fucking
Danish.
Bulgarian, and they speak English.
Yeah, that's fair. Then yeah, give it to him. But still, put him right there. I want when like fucking Apex stands up and does some fucking goofy little face and
You want someone to get
shoots-
spit
yeah,
on,
Yeah.
literally.
Goofy little face. I'm sorry, Apex. I'm sorry that Jason
His
referred
faces
to you
are all
like that.
goofy. Let's not act like they're not. Let's,
Okay, yeah, all
It's
right.
not just
you could
reality
replace Goofy with animated, and you're not hurting anyone's feelings.
okay, animated.
There you
I'm
go.
not saying his face is
Napoleonic.
goofy. I'm saying the faces he's making. Is that better?
Not really.
Okay, that's fair.
They're still tied to him.
But you know what you mean.
You
Like
got a little
the-
shit on
I know
your
what
face
I
for
mean.
Apex.
I don't know what you mean.
You know when like you're talking some shit, like you make some weird
I'm
faces.
talking
at times.
shit all
It
the time.
happens.
Jason, I got to ask this question, and then I'm going to go to the bathroom if that's okay with you. So I'm going
Yeah.
to ask two questions.
Okay.
This is the third. The first one was I'm going to ask a question.
Sure.
The second one is can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
And the third is what's your
I'm gonna
feeling?
go take a piss while you ask this question.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been sitting here thinking about the bathroom for the
Yeah,
last
me
10
too.
minutes.
All right, all right. Well, we can all go.
Oh,
we
yeah,
can
on
all go.
sequence. What's
so
your question?
I wanted to know your opinion on Woxic returning
I
to
can't
Eternal
possibly
Fire.
give a fuck at this point. I can't possibly care.
The good because that was
I'm so done. Like,
that was
the
the response I
revolving
was hoping
door of
for.
Eternal Fire. Just it means nothing.
Do
to me.
something, then I'll talk about you.
all right. Yeah, I like that mindset.
Start having some kind of an impact on my life.
All right, let's get back on the major, shall we? What about this, Jason? How did you feel about the interview we did today with Fluxo's social media?
That was unique. That was unique.
What is this?
We were just walking back from brunch, and they were just like sat out front, and we just got like accosted in front of the hotel to do an interview.
Which was fine.
It was fine,
Like
yeah.
it was fine.
Accosted's a strong word.
Yeah.
But yeah, they stopped us and said hi and everything. We were like, hey, will you do some content with Fluxo at this event? And we were like, let's just do it now.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just an interview. It was like me, Chad, and
We had
Alex.
an hour to kill.
Yeah, we had some time before rehearsal.
Feeling good? Just had your coffee?
Yeah, and it was with a girl that they had interviewing who didn't speak English, and we obviously don't speak Portuguese. So the way we did it, we were just like, just ask the questions in Portuguese, and we'll see if we can figure out what you asked, and we'll just go from there. We'll just make it up as we go.
And we did have fun with
We
it.
did have a good time with
Yeah.
her. Yeah, she was a good sport.
Yeah, I said I was Matt Andrews.
She goes, what's your name? He goes, Matt Andrews.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
So yeah, who's going to the bathroom next? Should we go in order?
Dips.
It's he's the
All
host.
right, fair
Oh,
enough.
you're gonna hit a blast now, just sitting that far away.
Huh?
You're gonna hit a blast now, sitting that far away.
Yeah, that's, I'm
tough.
awkwardly positioned.
Great
right
idea
now.
though.
Do you have anything that you want to say about Woxic, Launders? You missed the big discussion we just had about Woxic returning to Eternal Fire.
We said
I actually really don't care.
yes.
I'm gonna be honest.
The sentiment repeats
I think it's
itself.
like kind of funny, but like that's it.
I'm
for
so
me.
happy you missed that and had the same answer.
I
Exactly.
actually only ever care about teams that I think can win a major one day, and I just don't think that about Eternal Fire, so they just don't matter to me.
Okay, well that's harsh, but fair. I kind of feel the same way. Like I think that,
And I mean, I'll go as far as like
Prove me wrong first.
I would even be a fan of like a team like Complexity, who I don't think could win a major right now, but are moving in the right direction. That could potentially get like, Grim could like get some Supernova level that But if I don't see that potential at all, I literally don't care.
is Supernova below Global Elite, or where is that in the rankings?
Yeah,
Definitely.
true. It would be like,
Yeah.
there'd be a Supernova Master maybe, right?
It's like I think Supernova is somewhere around Howling Alpha, Chad.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Fuck, that is difficult. Here's a question.
Did you ever get Howling Alpha?
Which one was that? Was that the one before? Was that the best one?
That's the
Howling
best
Alpha
one.
is the
never got
top
Howling
rank.
Alpha. No.
No?
I never got there. I never ground enough. Yeah, I know, right? I haven't played Daisy. I haven't played Danger Zone in so long to score Daisy. Oh my god.
Yeah, which you have been playing a ton of. That's why you were a little. That's why you were a little blue. That's why you're a little blue, brother. Because I jump on TeamSpeak. Nobody on TeamSpeak except for Chad in the DayZ. And I'm like, man, it's 8 p.m. I'm on the East Coast. It's like, oh yeah, it's like the 3 in the morning, and Chad's just doing the DayZ solo.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
like
He's
it.
thinking
Yeah.
about that one guy who said
Collecting
he hasn't
canned
gone
food,
outside.
huh? Varkuda boys, indeed.
I've just realized something. With CS2, they have to change matchmaking ranks.
They have to?
Surely,
They
yeah.
have to.
Everybody should be reset.
Well, no, but what's the top rank in the game?
The top rank? What do you mean?
Will they
Global
keep the
Elite?
same ranks?
Yeah.
Or do they change
Well,
them?
it's
I
not
think they
called
should, but
Global
why do they
Offensive
have to?
anymore.
Dude,
It's
you know
not called Global Offensive, and the top
That's
rank
what
is
you're
Global
getting at.
Elite.
Oh, I
Keep
see,
that.
I
You can
see.
keep that.
Can you?
The nomenclature.
It'd be an homage.
Because it means you're one of the best in the world.
And then once you get to Global Elite, it opens up into an MMR, just like Face It.
Actually, that would be cool if
That
it was
is-
if it was once you got to the top level, because that level of gameplay is only really to service the top level.
Yeah. But you could have double, like Counter-Strike 2, double blue balls.
Double blue balls. Fuck, that's not a fun place for anybody to be.
No.
I would like to know how you get one blue ball.
Global Elite.
Okay.
It's a long time of
fair
being
enough.
on the edge.
No,
you know?
I was. I tried to make it sexual. Are you going to the bathroom, Connor, or am I?
You can go.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Jason,
That makes you the de facto host now, Jason.
I know that you're
Yeah,
a
yeah.
guest on this podcast as well. But
I'm not used to this. Holy shit, where do we go from here? Yeah, let's bring it back to the Counter-Strike a little bit.
to Talking Counter.
What did you guys think of? Did you guys read the one of the interviews I read during a rehearsal, the audio rehearsal, the Kinder quote, an interview where he said like
always got
people are
something to
getting.
say.
I know he's a fun interview because
Yeah,
he
he
always
is.
has something. I reckon it's mostly bullshit. I reckon it's mostly like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
But he's like, we're gonna come in with like a new style, and teams are gonna be caught off guard by us.
It's kind of crazy to, like, even Furia, it's really interesting to see them, like, try something where it's like, well, maybe they can have a new ceiling now. But it's, like, a little late that even if it works out for them to, like, suddenly win the major with a brand new style when they don't have enough experience versus all the teams they have to try it up against again.
Yeah.
So the same thing if, like, Liquid do actually change too radically or something that, like, they just have such weak mental composure sometimes that I feel like if they just start doubting themselves for arbitrary reasons that they'll just lose games again.
It's interesting though. They've been talking about how good the mentality and the like the team environment has been
Oh, that's
in
good.
contrast to most times. I feel like more than anything.
Always say that.
Yeah,
They
that's
always
true.
say that, dude. I remember, we've come in with the best boot camp we've ever had.
Yeah.
Flop.
Yeah, they're actually the slowest starting team right now. Like I didn't look
always.
at the stats, but I think they've like lost their opening game at like a couple of biggest tournaments this year.
And additionally, I would believe it if, much like Furia, here's the comparison I'll draw. I'll draw a comparison between Liquid and Furia. Furia showed up to the RMR at the beginning of this actual major cycle. They showed up at the RMR in Monterey, and we all saw a brand new Furia out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, it was a shocking reality when all of a sudden Furia they didn't go and say anything. They didn't tell anybody they were going to change it up. They just looked themselves in the mirror, made significant changes, and applied those changes at the RMR, then got to do it in Rio, where we see further success.
Sure.
They hit a brick wall because, like you're saying, they started playing tier 1 teams where they weren't comfortable with that, style yet.
Just yet,
They had
yeah.
to take a step back. They became their old selves again. Whatever. What, Liquid are going to show up to the major and now you're a new team? Do it at the RMR. If you're going to reinvent yourself and be completely different and like have those
Wait,
steps.
they reinvented that? I missed that
According
interview.
to
I
the
haven't read
Akinder
the
interview.
interview.
Yes, they
What was the exact wording here? Did they
That's
say?
fair.
It's not as intense as the quote.
Is
in
it just the
I'll make you
headline?
Believe? Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But I read the interview as well, and even when I read it, it didn't seem quite as intense. But I mean, it's still, you can't take that meaning away from it entirely. You know.
I prefer you reinvent yourself.
No, I actually am curious.
the
So,
cycle.
like,
Yeah,
what
I'll have Shadow Fun to read the sentence.
Okay.
I don't remember it verbatim.
So what am I looking for the
It's
excerpt
at
of
the
this?
bottom of like the second answer in the
people
interview.
are going to notice different style that we're going to play. Okay.
Second answer.
A different style. Okay.
It's the last
Well,
sentence.
But
NAF's entry.
Your Kinder likes to talk, right? Like, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
It's a great
but
interview.
He's
It just
exactly.
sucks when your team doesn't win.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
You're only like credited if you fucking win. Like if you lose, you just look like an idiot, and that's just the way that the media cycle works, right? Okay, here we go. Can you tell me more about that practice? NAF had mentioned that you had that you only had one boot camp in Katowice for a week at the start of the year. So this is the first time you've had a good extensive boot camp in Europe in quite a while ahead of the major. What was the work like there? First of all, we had to look through all the maps, completely remove things that we didn't need or that didn't work.
Nuke.
And add new things and a new style to our game. I think people are going to notice a different style that we're going to play. I can even tell you the schedule. It was 2 hours theory, 6 scrims, and afterward review, and also some theory time after. So it was pretty tough boot camp, I would say, with a lot of mistake fixing and a lot of encounters of new experiences and new roles. Jesus.
New roles.
New paradigms.
I personally think that it was a really great experience and really good preparation for this tournament, and I think it's going to show.
The problem is like
I don't think people care as much right now because Liquid aren't one of the even dark horses to win the major. They're like the outside, sort of like.
Yeah.
I hope they
they'd
make
be
playoffs.
right outside dark. Yeah.
But it's like technically they should be one of the contenders to potentially win the major.
For me, they're just outside the 5.
Yeah, right, and so, yeah. But
Well, I
like,
mean, their problem for me, like with putting them to like even like win any event really, and like their issue, it's kind of similar. Well, it's like kind of what Scrawny touched on with the weak mentality, or one of you maybe just said it just a couple minutes ago, and that's always been an issue. But I mean, if you want to like even put it in a different way, like their floor is so low, their ceiling is so high, but their floor is so low as well, which contrasts to like a Heroic who has a very high floor. They don't get upset that often, but their ceiling seems to be lower than the other elite teams. And if you're Liquid, it's just kind of like there's just way too many games where you show up and just like we don't even get your B game.
Yeah,
we
seriously.
don't even get your B game.
It just looks so defeatist.
Yeah,
I saw a comment. I actually don't know where it
but
was.
the new roles part of that answer is interesting.
Yeah, because like, are they changing spots to spots they haven't played before, or like?
I bet
guess
there's-
they've all
I bet
played a lot
there's-
of spots at this point, but
I bet there's a couple CT side shuffles.
yeah,
I would imagine. I'd be more curious about how the T side's going to work out because I think one problem that they have that other teams don't seem to have, you know, like if you want to talk about how important operas are in today's Counter-Strike, like OC like is like invisible at times, and I don't even think it's necessarily OC's fault. But when you have like your two big players of Yakinder and Elige always looking for a play to be made.
Yeah, but that was the same
have
thing as
this
with old
take on-
Liquid.
But you don't get space for your opera to
Exactly,
be involved, right?
yeah.
So like I'm very curious, like if you're going to make changes on the T side, surely it would be finding a way to scale back
You know how
some
they
of those
fixed
plays.
that? You know how they fixed that, Jason?
How they fix
They
it?
didn't have a fucking AWPA.
yeah.
They had
Yeah,
Nitro.
True.
Like
Yeah.
when Liquid
They
was
had
the
Nitro
most
and
successful.
Stewie hybriding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have an AWPA when Liquid have been the most successful in their entire Counter-Strike history.
And Liquid's never had a strong opera on that team.
Yes, except for Simple.
Who
who is
which
the
doesn't
only
really
guy
count.
who could actually like just make space for himself. But
But even Simple at
we
that time
all
was
we
so
all
raw
think that
and
OC is not
unpolished.
being used as well as he could.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of got to be on Nitro. I mean, it's the IGL, if anything. Like if if Elige and Yakinder are taking their own space, that's fine. But if you're buying OC and Op and he's not looking for opening kills, or he could be better. He's sitting there being unused. Like your team could be a lot better. It's not like OC is like dragging you down because he's not good enough. It doesn't feel like that.
No.
It feels like I said this. If it feels like, if, in my opinion, if OC went to play with FaZe, he would be like closer to Brokey, than he is to himself right now.
Interesting.
If
Okay.
I think if you play with Kerrigan, if he played with Snappy, I believe that he would be activated to a way higher level than he is now.
That team's always had issues getting the best out of like their new player coming in, especially a young player. Like if you look at Grim, who
Yeah,
looked
Grim
good,
was
they
just-
picked up, kind of started getting lost in the shuffle, and then left the team, and now he's looking much better on complexity again.
Yeah.
Same thing with OC. Was really good on his team. Now he's.
But
on the
who
roster.
teaches who knows in that team how to use an AWPA properly?
No one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like
Daps.
Elige was putting it on himself and Twist, during Grand Slam to like bring out the most output. Nitro never had to like teach an opera or like work with one.
Nor did Yakinder. He played with James.
Yeah, you can play with James.
Well, NA's never really had strong operas either. Like the players themselves just probably haven't even played
Last
with a whole
one
lot of strong
was
operas.
literally
in their career.
Spoodle. I thought
What
it
about
was
K-Sharp, man?
Okay,
What
I'm
about
really rolling
JDM?
back.
What about JDM, man?
He's making a comeback with CS2.
Yeah,
Don't care.
Put him in the Walkster category.
Yeah,
we
don't care.
we never appreciated Skadoodle as much as we should have.
Nah, that's not true.
we
We
the
appreciated
about that.
Skadoodle the appropriate amount.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
the Skadoodle situation.
Well, I wish we had another
Because if he was
Skadoodle.
around for like longer, then maybe I guess. But like,
I tuned into a Skadoodle stream the other day, and he was playing a game called Battle Bit.
yeah,
he's a gamer. He plays
Dude,
everything.
and I watched. He's like playing with like. Battle Bit's like a game of like Battlefield, but imagine Minecraft.
He's one of those
super
assholes who's good at
destructible.
every game he plays.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah. And when he pulled out the sniper, I was just like, wow. I'll have flashbacks to Skadoodle
Yeah.
and CS:GO.
But the
Gamers.
the biggest qualm I have with Skadoodle was his way of approaching being in a team was not assertive. He was because I remember I had interviews with Stewie like immediately after that major win in Katowice, and Stewie was telling me like, yeah, like we're probably going to change roster and shit. And I remember talking to him, and I did an interview with him. I think I did it for Snipe. Yeah, two Snipe references in this
Wow.
one fucking potty.
Let's go.
That's
Rare.
really niche. And I did this series, and that
Yeah,
Kato
buddy.
I went and recorded a lot of shit. And one of the things I was talking to Stewie, and he was like, yeah, Skadoodle just woke up that day and decided that he wanted to like be assertive and call where he was going to go for picks and like call the grand final against FaZe.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. It's like, you want your AWPer to be suggesting things more often than not. Because even if you're saying no 50% of the time, 50% of the time you're not saying no.
Yeah.
And he might find you a pick and you convert a good chunk of
It's
those
like a
rounds.
blessing for IGL to have an opera that will tell you how they want to start the round.
100%.
That was Apex's recent. Apex criticized Zywoo not long ago.
Yeah.
because he said like that was something that like
Same problem
when we
with Masuda, too much of a
Thanks,
soldier.
Jason.
yeah when we were just losing games, like it's like where's the Zywoo call? Like what
You
do you
remember
want
that,
to do? Talk to me, tell me.
You
Get
remember
out
that-
there,
You remember that?
get active.
Remember that? Was it the when they were iBuyPower Netcode with Skadoodle and they were going to all those finals? They had those like 3 finals in a row. Was it iBuyPower the team they were on?
I don't know. When I hear netcode guides, I just hear match fixing.
Yeah, but
The
like
words changed in my brain.
they were on that team before they all got banned, where like they played in that final against like a Fnatic, I think, like a best of
Yeah.
3, one of the
They did,
Faceit
like,
events,
some-
and it was Nuke, and all 5 Fnatic players crossed down lower, like in front of like Skadoodle's crosshair,
Didn't hear him.
and nobody rotated because he didn't
Didn't say
communicate.
No!
He didn't say anything.
It
Day
was
said
the
it after.
craziest
Scoodle
thing.
didn't say a
He
word.
didn't say a word.
What?
I know. It was the funniest thing because I remember being like watching that. I'm like, why is no one moving? Like, and like it's one of those mistakes that is clearly a lack of communication where you're just like, he didn't say anything.
Yeah,
He
which
didn't
is the
call.
most
Which
obvious on Nuke.
is
if
so
someone just
Yeah.
like-
calm the timing.
That's egregious, really, isn't it? Why? Okay, here we go, guys. You're all from the Americas.
Yes, sir.
Of different varieties.
Sure.
I don't know if there's a rivalry between you guys or what's going on.
Yeah,
Well, Canada's
friendly-
winning by a huge margin, so
Yikes.
They're not, but
we had 2 Grand Slams and a major. So
What do you got?
Yeah,
well, I guess we got, if you think about it, how many Americans were on that team? So how many Grand Slams do we have?
how many Canadians were in top 20 last year compared to Americans?
Okay, sure.
and then account for population.
Yeah.
Cool, guys.
Just a reminder.
You're still Canada.
Now, I just want to remind everybody here that Jason is
still Canada,
Jason
bro.
is on mornings, and we are on Instagram.
Everyone get the fuck out.
What were we talking about? Oh, why has the Americas never had any good AWPers? What's the reason? Is everybody too
don't
everyone
actually
wants to be a
know.
rifler? Why?
I actually
you had
don't
fraud?
know either.
You had fraud? K-Sharp?
Like, literally, the peak is Skadoodle JDM in terms of actual accomplishments as oppers in CSGO. And then technically the hybrids, like,
I don't know, because you'd think like most people would like want to be an AWPer.
Right.
I think like the most.
That's
Yeah,
my
that's
point.
like the most. Actually, Modesty was complaining about this with the UFPL because he said it just favors like oppers who play window, and then they get picked up. Like, Wonderful was the last story, and he was the one before that, and there was like all these guys. But like in NA, we have the total like the hyper individualistic culture, but we actually don't have like the star
think-
oppers coming out of the.
Which is
If
strange.
If I
That
had
is
to,
weird.
if I had to like venture a guess, I would say it would be something along the lines that. I mean, North America, as we all know, does not play strong Counter-Strike. And if you even go to the lower levels, like some of the Counter-Strike I saw from like the next tier of American teams at the RMR
Oh,
was
that must
so
be some
horrendously
fucking
gross.
fresh
Actually,
dog
we do
shit.
have one thing. The one thing we can say is that players like Junior and OC both went to teams in tier 1 where it can be argued that they weren't being used properly. Like when Junior went to Furia, Like that just was wrong for him. That was just not good.
That was the wrong environment. I wouldn't say
But,
it's
like,
been used
but-
incorrectly, but like
It's
man,
hard
I'm
when
Well,
really
it wasn't good
upset
for
for
him.
him.
Yeah, his style. Okay, but then Junior, like when we saw him play on EG Black, we see the Junior that's actually
Godly.
like
Yeah, but
playing
talk
slow
about
and still
talk
having
about the
tons of
junior we
impact.
saw in Complexity, where they got immediately better by just having an opera who just like stopped moving.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Like he kind of like made his own bed with his own weaknesses, and sure, I hope he learns from them, and I hope he goes really good because he's
Yeah.
got a skill set.
I'd love to
But
see him go
I-
back.
But he's
maybe.
more like
I
as
think
good as he
there's-
was on Triumph, but now versus some better teams.
Yeah.
And then OC's the other one who's like Liquid are the premier North American team, but there's no proof that they can use an opera. So
I think there's not enough like good Counter-Strike being played top to bottom to really like teach an opera like how you're actually supposed to play. Like the Counter-Strike is so sloppy, like utility usage like it misses. So like operas like it's such a different opping that you
even-
do on the Rise.
But I'm just talking about like just a raw fucking little Zoomer just bopping everything, you know, got the movement.
It's true,
just
yeah.
like a Monacy clone, but in North America.
yeah,
Where's
yeah.
that?
I know it's crazy, but you can't explain.
You ready?
CIS operas either.
Kojo.
Take it away, Jason.
Yeah, man. Give him some years, I guess. I don't know.
He had some great
Sure.
clips.
He's got there's a crazy overpass clip outside of bathrooms where
Like-
I'm like mechanically like the peek into the shot, into the quick scope, into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
repeat,
No,
into the
he's-
jig, and I'm like, okay, mechanically that's there. Never saw Wiz put something like that up.
But it's like
even though he's in the systems. But and then we're also taught
the mechanical gift
Years
is like
away, but-
only like 25% of the equation. I feel.
of course.
Like if you have to have like the actual sense of
50.
the game. It's not 50.
I'll
It's
raise it
definitely
to
not
50.
50. It's not 50.
What are you gonna take me down to?
33.
50.
No, but like there's like I like Kojo. I've seen his highlights and I know him. And he's obviously skilled. It's just like the other aspects of the game in terms of the team play, in terms of understanding how you position yourself, in terms of what's coming at you, in terms of like we've seen how many North American players are we going to see that have like the mechanical skills that can throw out those good highlights but can't actually deliver when you get to Team Counter-Strike. And there's so many more elements that go into, especially being an opper that at times has to be set up by a team. And if you don't have a team around you who is knowledgeable and good, then you're not going to get it set up properly, and they're not going to give you the spaces we're seeing with some other teams. Like there's so many other factors that go into it. But I mean, in general, I don't know. It's weird. It feels like the North American scene isn't even set up properly to have anyone to get excited about when they are just shooting heads like that.
Can I just say before we move on, because the North American AWP conversation is enthralling, I thought you were going to say Kusta.
Who?
Valorant, Kusta.
Did you forget about him?
Of course not.
How could you
Actually,
forget
I
about
still
him?
got his
Kusta
jersey.
had a moment. He had Jason's heart, actually.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
could you forget about Kusta?
Listen, Kusa's another one. Had the mechanical skills, had the gift, didn't really have like the mentality wasn't always there. And I think much like, he also got put into like one of those weird confidence shattering situations as well, where he
Yeah,
had to
sure.
play with Simple and just got absolutely straight bodied by the eventual go to the game.
Yeah. Well, you win some, you
yeah.
lose some, you know?
Yeah, that's
Kusta was never the same after that like Mo E-League situation. Where after the loss he just heard the desk talking about him.
Yeah, which is a shame because I still to this day think Mo is bang out of order on that one.
What happened? I didn't watch
I didn't mind like the actual like entertainment value or like production. Or, like I don't think Mo like did anything necessarily. Like it's kind of his job to be that entertaining personality. But I
just
think
don't
his
remember what he said. I
analysis
remember
of the
the setting, but I
situation
don't
was
remember what
wrong.
he
They played like a game on Nuke, and he just like went in on Kuster for having a bad game. And I didn't think
Was this the first E-League season?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
fucking
maybe.
played this.
When
And
Selfless were in the
I didn't think it was that terrible of a game ahead of him, but there was like one really bad. I mean, the problem with Kusa had like 3 boneheaded, really bad bomb defusal and planting
Right, and that
mistakes.
just takes all the attention, yeah.
I think I lost to Slemmy's Cloud9 at this E-League.
Slemmy's
No shame in that.
Cloud9.
What do you mean, man? There's so much shame
Another great Canadian in-game leader.
We name all 5 players on that roster. It was Slemmy Shroud, I guess.
Slummy, Shroud. Is Jordan on the team at that time?
Jordan would be on the team.
Scar would have been there.
Scar
Scott would have been there, and then
Tarek?
Freak.
Freak?
Freak is
is
a good
what-
guess. I like that. Freak at E-League was a thing, right?
Yeah.
Let me have a look here. What were
Slummy
we?
started his career with an ace.
Renegades versus...
Started his career.
Just
on
like
it?
His
Honda.
official
Like a
pro LAN
Manajumas?
career in Cloud9. He
Oh,
started
okay.
with 5 kill pistol round when he was pulled up.
Oh.
That wasn't Slummy. That was Zelsis.
Oh yes.
E-League Season 1. This is where we had the scoop before any of the other pro players, because even though the whole Monty Chris Badowie situation turned out being terrible, in the beginning it was good because we had all the inside goss, and then we didn't. But where are we here? E-League Season 1. E-League Season 1. Group play. We were in Group A in 2016 with, at the time, this was our group. Team Liquid. Do you know who was in that Liquid roster?
We can guess. It was
Elige,
Nafly,
Nitro?
Elige, Nitro.
I don't know if NAF would have been in it,
Pimp?
would he? What year
Pimp?
was this?
Fucking 2016, the year I retired.
NAF wasn't in
2016.
it.
No, but sorry.
Wasn't NAF, was it? No, wasn't NAF.
Oh, wasn't NAF? I mean, this is around.
Adren?
Simple was before.
Adren would have been in
yeah.
there?
Oh yeah.
Wait, I'm banned? The IP just got banned. I can't even check.
Slummy's also not Canadian, for the record. I retract that statement. I had to double check.
Why am I
This is they talk a bunch of shit, but they really don't know what they're talking about at the end.
We
of
have
the
a lot of. We just have so many IGLs that you would think.
Dude, do you know? You
And
know
you'll
how,
make a great coach.
you know how fucked this is? You know how this is fucked. So back then, we were doing best of twos, I'm pretty sure.
No, please.
Love that.
I hated that era.
We were doing best
I
of
hated
twos.
that timeline.
So in this group was Liquid, Cloud9, SK Gaming at the time in 2016.
Number 1 ranked.
Yeah. And us, Renegades. We beat Liquid twice, 16-14, 16-10, Mirage and Train. We lost to Cloud9 on Train, 16-7. We beat them on Cobble, 16-11, my favorite map. We lost to Luminosity, 16-0 on Train. We had a couple of 16-0
Wait,
losses
was
to
it
Cold
SK or
Zero.
Luminosity?
Well, it says
that was the one where they had
it says Luminosity in the group, and they must have changed to SK for the finals.
that's the one where they got
right,
banned,
that's
right? That's season 1.
Because
that's the one they got banned, and they brought in that Danish SK.
No, that can't be it. Because they topped they must have changed. I can't check.
No, because the
if I just
Brazilians
remember this,
Brazilians
you
got
gotta
banned
fucking
from
go
season
Check the
1.
Wikipedia page. That would say it. Wikipedia
Oh,
always
you're
has
right.
the asterisk.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're right. So I played Luminosity, but then SK got to play the fucking playoffs,
Why'd
which
they
was
get banned?
Pimp, Magisk, Modi, Frizz, and Asilian.
Because E-League at the time gave the spots in the season to the orgs, and Luminosity as the Brazilians
Yeah.
after the first major then got bought out by SK, but SK had this, or I mean Luminosity had, I don't even remember how it all played out. SK had the spot, but it went
Yeah,
to
it
the
was
Danes.
the org
Something
at
like
the
Old
spot,
school
and
drama was
everyone
so fun.
Everyone at that time was shocked that the orgs had the spot because it was like before things had become so corporate, and it was
Yeah.
like players, of course, own the spot. Like ESEA team, it's the players who own it.
Well, ironically too, look at how valuable like Brazilian viewership has become over the years too. Like
Yeah.
to think that I think E-League would make that decision differently
Sure,
perhaps these days.
We lost 19-17 in overtime on Cobble versus SK Luminosity. That's sad, man.
Favorite map though.
Sad, man.
Should we
look
before-
at me fucking bodying Cloud9, Jason?
with Slummy, right?
Yeah. Shut up. It was Shroud, Skadoodle, Nothing, Stewie, No Freak, and
Whoa.
Susie.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was Stewie's first event with C9.
That's a big event.
Yo,
His first match with them was on maybe not his first match, but that was the first one where he played on TBS as well. He was playing on TV.
Here's Lulquid's roster at the time. Elige, Koosta, Nitro, Hiko, Adren.
Wow. I forgot about Hiko.
times were different.
Isn't it?
Jesus Christ.
We talked about great American operas and we didn't say Cooper's name, and I feel like I just want to revisit that for a second
Let's just go ahead. I mean, we need accomplishments.
they went to Epicenter once. Swole Patrol.
Second
Did they go to
biggest MA
WESG
streamer.
in China?
I don't know.
Or was it?
I can check Cooper's profile.
I don't know.
Would they have done that?
I like
No,
what
maybe
Cooper,
not.
Flom, and Freak
I
are
don't.
doing.
I don't. It's not
I
about
know.
achievements
No,
to
I
me.
know the
It's
Canadians
about
with Ocean,
potential.
actually.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Sure.
Potential, man.
What do you
Because-
think? Here's,
Canadians.
here's a fun guessing game. What's the age difference between Freakazoid and Cooper?
4 years,
Uh,
and
Like-
Freakazoid is older.
6 years, and Freakazoid is older.
Okay.
I was gonna say
Jason?
5 years.
All right.
Freakazoid's older.
Cooper is 28 years young. Freakazoid is 30.
Only 2.
Wait, Cooper's 28? I thought Cooper was like really young for some reason.
I had no
I-
idea what his age was.
28 is young. Thanks.
I had no idea what his age was.
I wanted
Because
to
he
make
kinda
a fun,
didn't
but I
even
didn't
start
think he
playing.
was younger than 28.
Huh.
Should we go over some of the matchups at the?
Well, we
at the
can.
major?
We don't
Okay.
have to.
We already talked about FaZe and Monty.
Yeah, that's the most important one, right?
Yeah, it's the only match really that matters.
Are there any games that stick off the page here for anybody? Monty Phase, Pain, Fluxo, Gamer Legion, Complexity, G2, Mongols, Force,
The
Greyhound.
only upset that's not happening on that list is G2 Mongols. Everything else is going to be an upset.
I don't think Pain ups. I don't think
Let's fight.
Fluxo
Go for
upset
it.
Pain.
Fluxo's-
We watched that.
Fluxo's my 0-3.
Fluxo is a 0-3
sorry,
team.
No, Fluxo Pain is actually that's
Fluxo's a
solid,
0-3 team. They played a best of 3 at the RMR. They got 16-1, 16-8.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Fluxo cannot have any T side that doesn't rely on anything other than Lukowski playing hyper aggressive entry fragging. If they
only
avoid
argument-
Mirage, they're fine. You
The
avoid
only
Mirage, you're
argument
fine.
for them is that like literally like the only chance that Fluxo have is a best of 1,
Yeah.
and so like
I hope
it would
Pain
be
shows
if
up.
Pain's worst day.
I hope Pain shows up at this event.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously.
I
that'd be
didn't
great.
put him going through, but I really want Pain to make
It's
it.
the
to
one
Legends
team
stage.
that it's the one exclusion in my pick'ems that like I hope I'm wrong.
They're absolutely like the most disciplined Brazilian
Complexity
team
as
coming up.
I think here's an opinion I have. I think that there's a section of the seeding. There's 4 teams seeded at the very, very end. I think it's 18 to 14. The 4 teams are Ents, Ninjas in Pajamas, OG, and Mouse. Now, based on the seeding, right? You know, you can run through that simulator. It's hard to say what's going to happen. You don't really know with the simulator. But one thing that is a hard fact is that the winner of each of those games will play each other, and the loser of each of those games will play each other. So that means that between Ents, Ninjas, Mouse, and OG, one team will be 2-0, one team will be 0-2. And I don't think
that's actually a crazy little 4
That's
team.
why I have OG
crazy little
I have
pack.
OG 3-0, and Ents was my first pick, but of course it's just so hard to be sure.
Yeah.
So I put.
Are you guys playing the shit 9-0 game? Or
I'm
That's
not.
not
9 for 9
shit.
game?
That's not shit. It's the
Stop doing the 9 for
superior
9
way.
game. Just-
It's a superior way.
You guys have lost your minds.
I mean,
if
I'd
your
be playing
biggest-
that way if like I wasn't like uploading to YouTube. You know, it's like my viewers just want to get the diamond coin. They don't care about the 9-0
Yeah,
thing
it
yet.
depends on what your incentive for all this is. I don't give a fuck about what color my coin is.
Yes.
Last time, I didn't even spend the time to update who I thought was going to win the fucking final bracket. Because, well, there's a few reasons. One, I'm a lazy cunt.
Hard being
2,
proud.
you're already knocked out.
Yeah, and that also too. But at certain points, this game, right, especially with where Counter-Strike's at right now, in terms of the pick'ems,
It's so hard.
like picking in a Swiss, we're fucking sifting, trying to find these. Let's go for gold. Let's get as many right as we can.
That's what I'm saying.
Why
Look,
not?
So here's the pitch. All right. Do you currently have a diamond coin equipped to your CS profile while playing?
No.
Stockholm.
You use 5 or 10-year veteran coin, right?
No.
And as a 5 or 10-year
neither of those.
veteran,
I
okay.
use welcome to the clutch pin.
Well, that's because that's a good
That's-
aesthetic.
that's a
a nice
nice as
aesthetic.
well.
That's
Yeah.
a nice aesthetic.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Well, if
I
you-
used the 10-year.
I heard that pins are coming back, by the way.
rumored.
I did
too.
hear that as
Physical
well.
We should know.
Physical
I feel
pins
like.
at
Yeah.
CS2 or
That
at
would
this
be
major.
fucking awesome.
I think I have my collection. They used to give the player and talent
Yeah,
pins.
that they'd give out.
Yeah.
Mine's on my
What
TV.
what event did
Oh,
they
yeah?
stop? I think I still have my
know.
collection.
I don't know. It's like when they stopped doing player profiles and then it was put on the TOs. And it's like, we're not going to fucking spend money on this. And then the same with the pins. I was like, we're going to stop doing pins. It's like, you guys can make your own pins. No pins. Pinless. We're pinless.
Wait, I'm
People
not
used to
done.
love
I'm not done my pitch.
Okay.
Yeah, keep the
so
picture.
just kinda-
Okay.
But I want a pin.
All right. You want to pin? I want to. So, okay. The reason we should shoot for 9 out of 9 is because we don't actually give a fuck about diamond coins, like you said. All right. The cosmetic of that diamond coin doesn't really matter. We have a chance as the talking heads within this community for a cultural revolution within it. A cultural revolution
very
within
French.
Counter-Strike.
He's feeling
okay?
very
Yeah.
French.
Because
True.
at the end of the day,
When in Rome.
do you want to shoot for the bare minimum and get your 5, or do you want to shoot for absolute perfection?
Perfection.
When we do predictions,
That's why I get out of bed, baby. Let's go.
When you do predictions, you shoot
My room.
for
My room.
perfection. All right. There's not one human being in recorded history to have done a 100% flawless pick'em challenge with 9 out of 9 in each of the 2 stages into the playoff bracket. And if you don't do it here at Paris, there will never be one.
Damn.
And guess what? There will never be one.
Yeah, C's get degrees.
It's not going to happen.
Unless
You have
unless,
to be. You have to. There's like speaking
Unless.
probabilistically.
incredibly
When is it?
slim.
When would it have ever happened if you had optimal 9 out of 9 picks?
But
Makes
it
it
doesn't.
more
and
of
so,
an accomplishment,
and so
doesn't it?
even if you don't hit
Probabilistically,
it,
9 are making
Even-
top 8 at this major.
even
Okay?
if you
Because
don't hit it,
in history, we're going to have that breakthrough.
you shot for it. You tried. You sought after something greater than the bare minimum of 5 out of 9 coins.
5 out of 9. That's just over 50%.
5 out of 9. Plus, not to
Just.
mention,
No
the
one talks about
thrill,
that,
the
yeah.
fucking thrill when you edge of your seat because G2 are in a best of 3 versus FaZe in order to get into the next stage, and it goes to the 3rd map and it's tight, and then they win.
But
and
don't you have
nailed
FaZe
it.
too?
I have G2 3-0. I have FaZe in
It
my
was just
lower
an
side.
example, Jason.
And it was just an example,
Come
right?
on.
And then when they lose, you can only get a maximum of 7. You're on the edge of your seat because you're relying on your underdogs. Now you're relying on the teams that you just barely believed in. You know, those last 2 picks that are like just a bit more those ones, now they have to pull through, which is why you chose them to begin with. Because you don't choose the last 2, it doesn't really matter. You choose those last 2 because you got belief in something, bro.
So the only thing that would change is the 3-0 and 0-3 with a 9 out of 9, right? Because otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just picking optimally in the bottom anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're going a bit like you're not going. Oh, I think NIP will go 3-0, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't really think NIP will go 3-0, but you
just got
think
a Hail Mary.
based
you
off what
just think
Connor
they might
said,
actually get eliminated. So you don't put
Yeah.
FaZe or you don't put G2 or
Yeah.
whatever.
right? So,
But yeah,
Oh,
You're
what
just
The
not
problem is
taking the
that
risk.
I
take the risk.
What happened?
what's this fucking?
Is the podcast dead?
What's this fucking guy
No, it's
doing
not
on my
that. We're fine
screen?
with the podcast.
Oh,
He's-
okay.
What's this guy doing on my
yeah,
screen?
that came out of nowhere.
What's this guy doing on my screen? This fucking turncoat motherfucker.
Who is that?
What do you mean? Who is
I
that?
can't even see.
Oh, sorry. You could.
Oh, it
No.
Now it's women's lingerie. What you been
It
up
was
to?
it was 100 Thieves ad. I was just thinking. I was wondering
No.
how many more times you could pick up and drop a Counter-Strike roster.
Come on back.
Apparently they're really heavy. No, but I'm with Connor, and you at home should be too.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, you really turned Sponge around fast.
I mean, just go for
He
it.
was
No,
just-
Chad
he
was
just-
already there.
He was
He was
announcing
just- he was
pickups
just
like
waiting. He
3
was just waiting.
seconds ago. His adrenaline
Just
is
go for
pumping.
it, man. You know,
Shit. I just need something to get behind. If anyone else is
yeah.
gonna get fired, I'm fucking there.
it's
I'm there.
that. It's
Alright.
just that much more thrilling. It's the same reason we used to all gamble on CS:GO Lounge because when you watch, it's that extra
Like
bit
to
of
raise
thrill.
my hand and
We
say I've
all-
never gambled on any Counter-Strike
we?
matches.
Oh, sorry.
ever.
Yeah, sorry. X-players.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, right.
Ever.
But I mean, it's
Hand-
that
hand on-
little
which
extra
side's my
thrill.
heart on?
You can just say you went all in. You just, don't fucking half-ass shit. We're CS:GO.
Yeah.
The problem
We're
is I'm
CS:GO. If
barely.
this was Valorant, go for 5 out of 9. This is fucking
Oh, don't do
Counter-Strike.
that.
The problem is that I'm barely getting.
that.
I'm barely getting
Do
5.
that.
I'm barely getting 5. Trying my hardest to do like the cheaty way.
Yeah.
So like, how the fuck do I get 9?
How do you get 9?
But this is
Because
Make a
if you-
second YouTube video.
No.
If you were gonna go for 9 out of 9, you got extra content right there.
Oh shit.
Well, Maui does that in his YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, he's doing the 9 out of 9.
He's actually the leader of the 9 out of 9.
He's the
movement.
guy who started.
Oh,
it,
he is.
yeah.
He's the leader of the 9 out of 9.
I might be off the 9 out
He
of 9
pitched, he
club.
pitched me at, he pitched me at dinner
Just to
tonight,
spite Maui.
and I was like, "Nah, it didn't do anything." For me.
Yeah.
Ignore I think I pitched.
Problem
it
is, he didn't
you
get
pitched
any.
it
You
well.
did pitch it better.
If
Yeah.
you didn't
Yeah,
say if Maui wasn't brought up here, we'd all be
It
fine.
tainted it.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't happy with the foe. Actually, no, I think it was you who wasn't happy.
No,
with
it
it.
was
foe
me.
was subpar.
The foe was
Foe
terrible.
was subpar.
Everyone who had the foe was unhappy with the foe.
Yeah,
It's
there
a
was
risk
way
to
too-
That
have
place is
fucking-
just conveniently close. That's all.
to have that in Paris. Where's-
It does sound
Is it-
bad to be
There's gotta
like
be good fun this time.
I'm the 5 out of 9 movement.
Yes,
like
you-
that just sounds weak. I
5.
hate that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's
Yeah.
the 9
But
out of
I'm
9
just
movement.
doing
Don't
it
let
for
them
you.
label you like
Aspire.
that,
Just
doing it
Launders.
for
You're doing
you.
just
Aspire.
fine. You're doing just fine.
Aspire. If
Thank
you don't
you.
believe in yourself, how can anybody believe in you?
But see, like
Amen.
with that Terminator mentality, you end up like Yanko, who got 4 out of 9 in the first 2 stages of Rio, and then predicted the winner of the tournament because he had nothing to lose.
meant absolutely
He still
nothing.
got a silver coin,
But
even
what-
though he predicted the winner
And
of
at
the
the end-
tournament because he only got 4 out of 9.
But at the end, and if you watch the episode of Talking Counter right before playoffs happened, he broke down and explained that outsiders pick
Oh, he
with
walked all the way through it.
intelligence.
Yeah.
it was
with
good.
intelligence,
It was good,
dead on. And so I ask
nailed
you, yeah, he did get a silver coin. Fucking Yanko. But what actually matters
And
more?
he's also part of the 9 out of 9.
What-
team.
what
I
actually-
want to bring that up as well.
what
He's-
matters more? The fact that he has a silver. See, the fact that we linger on the silver coin
It's just a
now
beard.
undermines his impressive his impressive analysis and forethought of predicting the outsiders win. What actually matters there is that he fucking shot for it, man.
It's like
shot
somebody,
for it.
you're sitting at quad, and then there's like, it's like the moment of your life. You're like the Stewie moments, right? And
Yeah.
then there's like, pyramids and clay and shit. And then they're running into the site, and then Stewie, instead of just peeking and killing the guy planting the bomb, he like jumps out in 360 no. No point.
Except for the stakes at this point is a diamond coin.
But the stakes were winning. Yeah, okay, I'm with you, Lorna.
And
Fair
Thorin
enough.
got a silver coin. He's still smart.
But I think this is the thing. The coin doesn't mean the coin means jack shit. Like the whole thing with it, right? Like I Greyhound's in mine. Do you know why Greyhound's in mine?
What does
Because
that
you
mean?
supporting
believe
the
in
team,
something.
supporting the people.
You
Yeah,
believe in something.
because-
Because
and
you're
the-
biased.
But yeah, that too. But the reason.
Wait. In what? Like in
in the 3-0 or the
No,
bottom?
no. They're to progress.
Oh, okay.
Right? Is because if
Well.
if I put it out publicly,
That's the 8 out of 9 challenge.
If you got 8 out of 9, you would still be part of
Wow.
the 9 out of 9
This-
movement.
this-
Honestly, with
You
that
went
pick.
for it though, and it's gonna feel really good.
this makes where I'm going now. It's like it's going to feel quite hollow here, because where I was going with this was if the guy who's from that region and knows exactly what it's like and how difficult it can be can't have a little bit of fucking faith in the boys, and like I don't think they care if I think that they can do it or not. I don't think they really care, but like. Maybe there's a little bit that when they see it, and they go, that they can maybe do it because they can maybe do it,
sure.
right? And I know what it feels like to be in that position. Nobody thinks you're gonna win. People fucking think you just there to make up the numbers. You're from a small region, take your stick of money and fuck off. It's like, well, no, I'm here to compete just as hard as everybody else. Like I have a lot of these hurdles that I have to get over, and you know how good it feels to break through. Like when I beat those European cunts in Katowice to qualify for a major,
Hell yeah.
in what was the Challenger stage, which was called the Major Qualifier, which is now the Challenger stage. When I beat those fucks, when I beat Alu, when I beat Pimp, when I beat those guys, and I came from a country where we weren't beating anybody overseas, it felt so good. Sure, it probably doesn't feel anywhere near as good as like winning a major or anything like that. But for an accomplishment at a point in time when you consider what was done or what wasn't done, it meant a lot. Like, and for Greyhound to get through, they will have that feeling. They will know what that feeling is. To them in that day, they will feel accomplished and they will feel like winners. And that's a feeling that everybody here is trying to pursue. Every team has different check marks. Do Greyhound truly believe they can win the whole major? No. I don't think that would be that delusional as individuals.
No, but Legend Stage is an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's a fucking huge accomplishment. Not everybody here can win. And of that field, of the 24 we have, most are realistic that they can't go the whole way. Some are realistic that they can win. Some are realistic that they can make top 8. But others, like Greyhound as an example, getting from the first stage, beating a couple of legit opponents in international Counter-Strike and moving on to the next stage means so much to them.
Oh, man. No one, even if Pickham's aside, if Greyhound were the first team to qualify out through Challengers, no one would be unhappy at seeing that reaction.
Right?
That would be an amazing moment. Like, the only reason that they have this, that they have sort of the reputation is because they've, not gotten a win for the two out of 3 of the last 3 majors.
Yeah.
So then they have this reputation of like the layup, 0-3 pick. But if they went through, it would be like fucking glorious. Everyone loves that kind of story.
It's like Nine's kind of run in the RMRs was great to see. A Polish team returning to top of Counter-Strike.
I've been so like, I don't know what it is with me and like Poland CS, but like I've always drawn this comparison between Poland and Brazil and what Fallen has done for Brazil, but what none of the leaders of some of the Virtus Pro players in the team were able to do in Poland in terms of, and it could be the player's fault or the region or something else, but just the inability to activate what is such a massive region of CSGO players. Like, if you go to Katowice, you see Taz and Pasha banners hanging from fucking apartment buildings on the back of buses. Pasha's now a fucking MMA fighter. Like, these guys are real famous out there, and there are a lot of players that look up to them, but they have yet to have a Polish team. We had the closest was Hades on ENCE in Stockholm, get into quarters, and then gets just erased.
Yeah.
Beyond that, no chance of winning the major. 9 actually, it feels like, honestly, like coming out of Legends, I feel like they have a pretty fucking good chance of actually making playoffs. And then there'd be a 5-man Polish team in playoffs. That wouldn't have happened since 2017, I think.
Damn.
And these are those amazing stories, I think, when you do it when you have a national team, right, Chad? You're sat here talking about Greyhound doing it and how everybody would get behind and celebrate that. And you know that everybody back home in Australia would be that much more excited.
Yeah.
But I think Australia and Canada have a parallel in that while we're sat here hoping, in your case, Greyhound, a fully Aussie team, can do it and how much that means for a regional scene, you guys have Dexter. You guys have JKS.
Sure, yeah.
You have, as Canadians, we have to rally behind an individual, right?
Sure.
Every
Twist,
NA team always
yeah.
has one Canadian. Now FaZe has a Canadian, right?
Yeah.
A Canadian to do it in European Counter-Strike, unprecedented. And it's like, it feels good. We put Twist on that pedestal because that's like something we can be proud of. There's never been a fully Canadian team. It's like there's never been a fully Canadian accomplishment, a country's accomplishment, a local, regional accomplishment, right?
There used to be a bunch back in the day.
What would
It just doesn't make any. As the internet got better, it made no sense to just do fully Canadian teams anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like it gets
GRT?
split coast, like
Was he
based on
Canadian or
coasts.
American? Yeah. Well, yeah, of course he was.
But like the old EG organization used to be always Canadian. Always Canadian teams.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
What would your current
Yeah.
but the two of you, I don't know how much you think about this, like Canadian
Fully
all-star
Canadian
roster
team.
be? Obviously,
Yeah.
Twist and NAF, they're
You'd
locked.
have to bring like Daps out of coaching.
You don't know. You can do whatever you want.
Okay. Because that
Yeah,
would
it's
be
your
the
dream, baby.
closest to relevant, I think, would be Daps out of
Get
coaching
in-game lead.
into Twist, Nafly,
Yeah.
Fang.
and then Fang.
Yeah.
And there is another.
You're missing it. No an AWPing. Do you have any AWPers?
We don't really.
That's hard.
Matt and I did this last year.
Yes,
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah,
we
during
technically
cast,
have
we made
Hex.
up like an
You did
NA
too,
versus
yeah.
Hext.
NA.
Oh, Hext.
Hext.
I would take Hext.
Yeah.
Actually, I would take
Twist,
Hext.
NAF, Fang, Daps, Hex.
Hext. And then would be the Opera, of course. But yeah, there is no like.
And Daps is individual.
We don't have like an OC in Canada or anything like that I can think of that's like he needs the chance. Actually, I have someone random who I think will be the next player to come up. Who
Good shout out.
I coached him for a bit. Actually, one of the subscribers from my stream, I like won a local LAN in Toronto with him randomly as he got like a lot better. He came into my stream as like this little kid, challenged me to 1v1. He said if I won, I'll subscribe to you. I beat him in the 1v1. He beat me in a rematch. He subscribed to me. A couple years later, gets so good. We play a LAN together. We win the local in Toronto. Now he's playing in Premier. CS2 is coming back. He actually quit for a second. And his team that he was playing with had this player, Darius or Pendulum. And he's op IGL. He's just graduating. He's with engineering. And
nice.
He's really, really smart, hardworking, and super confident. I remember we played a pug with JDM was on a Mirage team, and JDM said like, "Can you buy me an op?" And Pendulum said no. Literally, like he's like he has no respect for anybody who doesn't think is still good. He has that self-confidence, and so this is a really random shout. Few people know about him. I think that he's going to be a really important figure in North American CS. He told me that he's going to grind for a couple of years before figuring out if he's going to go full-time in engineering, but going to give it a chance with CS2 coming out.
That's cool.
All right, so we'll get Pendulum on there.
And I think if we ever had to get like, if Valorant wasn't a thing that existed, I think that the best opera to ever come out of Canada was probably Wardell.
Wardell was legit
actually
smart
something special. When we talk about Ghost, Gaming was Steel, right? Like if Ghost...
Good call.
If Ghost had kept, if it was like still Steel Wardell, and then we intertwine that with what the Chaos guys were right before, that would have, I think Chaos was the biggest loss to NACS with the release of Valorant and the online era, right?
Yeah.
We would have Vanity still, and like look what those guys have become over in Valorant, right?
Yeah.
Like that would have. There was substance to that Chaos team.
I thought about this yesterday too. I was like, one name that gets lost. I think one of the biggest, actually probably one of the most important players who could have been something really special in NA Counter-Strike for like different reasons other than like just being like a star badass player. But we really miss someone like Ethan.
Yeah, man. Ethan was
so
good.
Such a good player, such a smart player.
And it was one of the first to go to Valorant.
Ethan's biggest issue is he wants to be at home.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes, he does.
So for me, like, and I mean no disrespect for Ethan, because I was one, like, everyone's like, yeah, go Breeze. I was like, actually,
no,
Ethan's fucking sick.
Yeah,
like, so I was always like on team Ethan, but then when the decision that he clearly made this choice, he has a partner that he likes spending time with, and that's what he wants. That's the lifestyle that he wants.
To be at home with his car and his dog and his girlfriend.
So for me, I'm like, fine. Right, that's like cool. That. I don't have any issues.
You know what you want.
If he wants to compete and be the best Counter-Strike player or best FPS player in the world, then he'll do that. He obviously doesn't want to do that. He wants to make a career. There's nothing wrong. This is the thing. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being a career professional gamer. There's nothing wrong with that. Like that's fine. Like if that is the way that you want to, you can be in the top 10 consistently for the better part of a couple of years. Yeah. You can earn good money, right? Will you feel what it feels like to lift trophies consistently? Probably not. Maybe you win one. Maybe you get an odd trophy here. Maybe it's probably not a major. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's fine if people want to go down that career path. That's why with the North Americans who all defected to Valorant, I didn't care. Like, go get that bag. For you, living is important. It's important for all of us, right? Being able to sustain and earn that money. So I don't sit here and look at it and look at these guys and go, oh, they fucking left us defectors or whatever. They went where the money is, right? And that's what people do in all industries for everything. Like when something becomes redundant, then you're going to go looking for something else, right? You're going to go looking for that, whatever that next thing is. So I understand why they did it, but it is set. You guys have had in the last 15 years, 2 big setbacks. The first was CGS. Splitting everything because everybody just went Source instead of staying with the better game.
We've
with the
never
high
had a
ceiling.
generational transfer of knowledge.
No, you've had you guys are like
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
You guys got fucked up. You had 2 younger Dryas's. You've had one younger Dryas with the CGS, and then you had a second with fucking Valorant.
COVID and Valorant.
And we don't even know if the younger Dryas is real, Jason.
No, we don't even know.
We don't even know if it said younger Dryas.
I think there's some evidence though here in Counter-Strike for sure.
Do you think that the key to North America could be Atlantis?
Yeah, if we ever find it.
I think it's under Hawaii.
It'll have all the
Hawaii.
Counter-Strike maps and every tactic ever played.
They think like so.
It's in the Bermuda
actually, I don't want to
Triangle.
get into this shit. I don't want to get into.
Need
this
to enter
shit.
the podcast.
Yeah, I love listening. Like
It's just the whirlpool that occurs because of the storms, right? In the area.
What?
The Bermuda Triangle that sucks ships into the water.
Is it?
That's why. I think
How do you explain the airplanes disappearing?
One of the theories that because the storm, so it'd be like it would technically could also create like hurricanes. So it's like pressure systems coming into each other in a part.
messes with the radar as well once you get in there as well.
Freaky going on.
So that was one theory I heard anyway. But
Is that to do with Atlantis?
no, to do with the
Bermuda
Bermuda
Triangle.
Triangle.
I
And why ships disappear and how I think it was Amelia Earhart could have disappeared as well.
Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's the thing.
Same birthday, by the way.
There's Amelia. Right?
24th of
24th.
July.
Me, you, and
You guys,
Amelia
both you
Earhart.
guys. Yeah, both you guys.
We share a birthday with Amelia. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Nice.
Well, rest in peace, poor Amelia.
Yeah, we don't know that.
You guys don't go flying on your birthday.
Yeah, we don't know that.
That's
We don't
true,
know where it
actually.
is.
Her and
She could
Elvis
still-
are
Don't
coming back.
jump to
She could
conclusions.
still be alive. What are you doing this year for your birthday?
Probably just like avoiding people.
Yeah, right. I was thinking,
You're at that age.
what am I doing for my birthday? I don't probably nothing. Probably nothing. Probably actually nothing.
Yeah, my birthday is like, can we just stay in and cook dinner? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want
This
to
is
do
the
that.
first year that the player break is over my birthday. That's gonna be nice.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Because it's June now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
that'll
yeah,
be-
yeah.
That's a great month to be in Quebec.
Yeah, the weather at that time for us is all going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So perfect.
I know the players are all pissed, but I'm alright.
Well, that's the thing. I have heard that they want to try and change it back for next year. So I've heard a couple things. I heard that next year, obviously we know when the first major is going to be, right? We do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I just want to make sure.
In the Royal Arena.
Did we? Oh, that's right. Oh, we even know who's going to run
That
it.
is so
don't we?
crazy. That's
Right?
So
It's so
crazy.
funny.
Dude.
It's such a kick in the dick.
I remember
yeah.
when we spoke about it. They're just
Snipe.
coming in, cutting the grass. It's like, thanks for all the hard work. And I fucking, it's such a great decision from PGO's perspective. From Blast, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
They're probably on Valve like, what the fuck, guys?
But the
Yeah.
thing
Go
is,
for it.
Blast know that arena really well, and so PGL kind of have to like
That's the other
compare
way
to
we
the
said it. Yeah,
last
like, 'cause
fall
they're going to
final,
have the
yeah.
world, the
They'll have fall finals there
and it's like,
again.
okay, well, now we get a head-to-head
Yeah.
comparison.
That's
here,
true, right?
And
the
only
full
like a
finals
few
always
months
great.
after.
PGL
Yeah.
audio guy sweating.
So what? November. So we're gonna have when's the fall finals?
March. No, sorry.
November, right?
November, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have December, January, February, March.
4
Fucking
months.
hell!
4
Yeah,
months.
it's gonna be
No pressure.
And the last fall final, even like with the crowd perspective and things really have started to change where that started to become like an institution of the game. It feels like
Nice.
where Blast haven't really had that.
It's
where,
like they're-
Heroic
yeah.
took that victory. The crowd was a lot better this year. Like the overall production is fantastic at the fall final.
Yeah, they
so-
nailed the fall finals.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
so now there's some history there, and I think it's becoming like
Well, we've been going to this since 2017.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Right?
Which
But
is-
it feels like
yeah.
the Danish crowd has been like educated to a point where you actually see the results. Where like
Mm-hmm.
the it was way more impartial this time around. People are actually recognizing Heroic as like a really good team that you should cheer for.
And that
in
they're Danish.
Denmark, where literally, yeah, it's like wild that before Astralis the only team that existed.
Yeah.
So
I would also say there was more. I think more people traveled to Copenhagen this time around in 2022
Yes,
than previously. It's like it felt like less of a Danish hooligan crowd and more of an actual Counter-Strike crowd.
Okay.
And I think that's
Yeah.
partly induced. There's no crowd in esports that has as many women and children at it.
yeah, that's
It's
cool
a
too.
family
Yeah,
crowd.
that
It's
is
a
really
family
cool.
experience. And so I think it's a great example that like esports has to be built. The crowd will change, will evolve naturally over like, and you have to prove as well that going to that event is worth it.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't just do like, and I think this is actually a shame. You know, this is the shame of 2023 in my eyes is actually that is that the spring finals is in Washington and not Lisbon again. Because if Blast had
Lisbon was
created
good.
Lisbon
Blast
is
created
amazing,
in
but-
fall finals in Copenhagen, if they had continued with Lisbon and Portugal, I think that would have become the next one, and then Blast could guarantee within the year that would be Blast's essentially like Katowice and Cologne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each TO would have a guaranteed 2 packed stadium, active crowd,
That is so
passionate
really
fan
true. The
base.
Portuguese
You're right.
fans are trying, bro, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want it bad.
Fighting for it,
But
dude.
you know what it is? I heard that it's like a lot to do with the bureaucracy of like the country. When you try to run an event there, that everyone's just trying to run your pockets for like
Oh,
every little dollar
really?
that you
So
can.
they're having
I think
issues with.
It's basically not fun.
Well,
to try
I
to do
guarantee.
it.
I don't actually know, but I guarantee they're having the same fucking problems with running an event in the States and especially in DC, with especially how political obviously DC is.
True.
But the unions have always been an issue.
Events in America are fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
really hard. I have to say, you're exactly right on all your points.
Yeah, that
but I'm
is-
never going to complain about a TO trying to bring back events to North America.
And that is
Also-
something
also-
that everyone
Yeah,
has
yeah,
to
yeah.
understand
If
is that the
yeah.
ad dollars in
yep,
America
yep,
will
yep.
never be something that goes away. Like no
Yeah.
matter how bad our scene gets,
We
the
need-
lack of
we
players,
need to
whatever it is,
reactivate
we will
North
always
America.
have NA events. So if that's any motivation for anyone who loves Counter-Strike and doesn't want to go to Valorant just for money or any other reason, like we're always going to have NA events and some semblance of NA support. It's just
I'd
not
love a
always gonna be-
Vancouver event, but it would be so expensive.
yeah.
Put that shit in Toronto.
Toronto, dude,
that shit in
I ran
Toronto.
I did a watch party for the IEM
I saw
Rio
that.
finals.
That seemed like it blew up.
Dude, I thought with like
Oh
30
yeah,
people were going to
fuck!
come
I
to
was
that.
I saw you on your stories and
So
shit.
we have never done a watch party or anything like that. I get recognized in Toronto probably once a month. That's actually how
Okay.
common it is. It's definitely a big Counter-Strike city. Grew up playing LANs there, everything like that. But in today's market, I went to the Valorant LAN recently in
Yeah?
Toronto. It was popping like
Really?
insane, and I was like, fuck. Like I hope these guys still play CS. So we decided to do a watch party with Rivalry, who I'm brand ambassador for because they're like based out of Toronto, licensed properly in Ontario, like super like good. And then I was like, okay, they had their biggest watch party was League of Legends, like 20 people came or something like that. We did the watch party, opened the invitations. 200. We had a bar that's a super nice bar on Queen Street. The capacity was 200. We had 220 signups and 150 people came
Damn.
to watch this, and it's the first one that we ever did.
That's sick.
So yeah, if I can get 150 people to come to a bar to watch an event,
Yeah.
like we could definitely
Imagine what a
have
live
those
one
NS
pulls.
tier
Yeah.
line, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Toronto's also very easy for the Americans to travel to. You know, in terms of Canada geographically, right? Like
Toronto's the farthest south.
it's the furthest south. It's actually like further south than like something like
You get to capitalize on the
eight
same
of
crowd
states,
that Columbus
right?
did as well.
Yeah. Like
Ah.
it's one of those things where like if you look at the Western Canada, the border is higher than Toronto. Toronto is like it's on a peninsula that sticks down,
Yeah,
right?
it's like lower than Seattle.
That's why it's a very American city.
I drove there with my like 8-month pregnant wife
Yeah.
to go visit Toronto.
Mohan,
Yes.
Mohan lives as south in the United States as Jason does.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about.
Just about.
I'll give it to you.
comparatively.
Yeah, I'll give it
right?
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And you're down near the fucking lakes, mate. The Great Lakes.
Yeah, the great ones.
The great ones.
He's just on the
They're
other
at the
side
top.
of him. Yeah.
Yeah. But that
we
I-
share those.
That would like I.
No,
I-
Unites us.
No, we don't.
No, no, we're not going to
No.
eat.
It's actually going
not
to be a
in 10
big problem in the
years.
future.
Great Lakes say, baby.
I always
I just walked down that way. We didn't plan this.
It was my body of water.
I always have debates with Jason on this show about North American Counter-Strike. So that's not where we're going to go with this. But I think that one of the things that's been discussed in the pro level of Counter-Strike is the idea of doing swings like they do in tennis. So like
Sorry, what is that?
so if we were to do it kind of like what's happening with Dallas and Washington.
I think it's horrible.
Okay.
Let's
Let
get into
me
it,
explain.
boys.
Let me
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
the concept.
I
first.
just didn't finish this point.
So because
Fucking shit.
because it's difficult to get people to different areas of the world and stuff, right? And all traveling all the time fucking sucks. The idea would be to have like a more saturated patch of events, not necessarily weekend after weekend, but over a couple of months, whatever, in the same place. So like America would get events like we're getting Dallas and Washington within a couple of weeks of each other, right? I agree with you in the terms of it's a horrible idea because you're gonna force people to pick. You know, if you had one East Coast
cannibalize
and
each
one
other's
West
events.
Coast, right?
Yeah,
East Co-
maybe, yeah.
Then maybe, right? Or if you had one in Canada and one in.
But no
the
one wants to
States.
do West Coast events.
No, well, West Coast
Time
events are
zone's
fucking
bad.
nightmare.
Well, and the time zones are horrible for viewership
Yeah.
over in Europe. Yeah.
We did that one for Blast. Remember back
LA?
in that was
Yeah, LA was.
yeah. That was like that was in a furniture store,
Yeah, that was weird though. That was weird for a lot of reasons.
but like it was hard to get people to come.
Was it
Yeah.
the live band?
It's hard to compete in places
Or
like
was
it-
LA
acoustic
and
or
Miami
or was it the artificial
because they
crowd
have
clapping?
so many live events going on all the time.
True.
yeah, forget
Like,
Or was
they
it
have,
the 3 simultaneous games?
musicians? Yeah. Was
Come on now.
Blast has come a long way,
I-
boys.
I forgot about the artificial clapping. I
Yeah.
forgot about the
Like
artificial
no one
clapping.
was gonna notice.
It's like
sake.
canned
or was
laughter.
it the casters outdoors taking in a third caster from the
Oh
crowd?
yeah, from the
Oh,
crowd.
yeah,
Oh!
cast
That was
with
horrifying.
a fan.
That was so rough.
This is
Yeah.
back when being an analyst was worth it because you didn't
Yeah.
have to do any of that fucking
yeah.
Mickey
Yeah, that
Mouse
was rough.
shit. Holy shit! I just remember all of that.
Yeah.
The amount of conversations I got in with random people at that, like just fans, because there was just benches outside.
Yeah.
I'm talking to guys like who are in
Across
the
the food
military
truck,
and shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm just getting like a flashback of all that. Jordan was there.
Yeah.
Damn.
But no, I think the entire idea of a swing, like, it makes sense in a way, but I think you just end up cannibalizing too many people who are like, I think even now people are having to choose between
Why'd you
Dallas
answer
and
it so
Washington.
fast, like you've been?
Because I knew
thinking about
exactly
it
what he was
already?
going to say.
Because you know,
We've had
this
this
swing
conversation.
idea has been
Yeah.
flown around
I think
a bit.
it's a decent idea if there's more than literally. I mean, they're back to back. What we're talking about essentially is this
Well-
example of Dallas into Washington,
Yeah.
which is back to back right now.
It also solves a problem. Like one of the complaints that you're going to get from teams and players is like,
Travel.
I don't want to fly to Dallas, go home for a week or two, and then fly back to Dallas. And as any person, I'm just like, yeah, go fuck yourself. We do that the
Every
entire
time,
fucking
yes.
year.
Yeah.
Come-
So suck it up and come do it. But I think these are too close, and I think that's going to be the biggest problem that they're running into now. Is like you have a decision to make if you're in NA, if you're going to travel to an event for one of the few events we get. Do you want to go to Dallas? Do you want to go to DC? And I think both TOs probably. I mean, I would guarantee almost ESL will win out on that just because Dallas is obviously more established. It has the DreamHack Festival attached to it as well.
Yeah.
Versus DC, but yeah, I think those kind of swing ideas don't really work all that well.
TC's never even had anything like
Yeah.
sizable land-wise.
Continuity
It's
in
complete
Dallas.
And that's the
mystery.
other thing. I see that complaint all the time on like Reddit and social media of like, why didn't Blast get like a bigger venue? And it's like, I don't think you guys understand like the risk that you have to take if you're paying
Miami,
the bills.
they were aiming for 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Like they
I
didn't
wasn't
even
at
have
Miami.
any
They
stands
didn't.
open.
But like that. This here is something that I always get like stuck on as well. why are we trying to just fill out as many people arenas as possible? I think 2,000 to 4,000 people in a proper sized venue is great.
Yeah,
2,000 people.
Look at Blast London in 2020. They had like
that was sick.
less
That
than
was so
100
much fun.
people.
That was so
they
much
just
fun.
optimized the crowd mic locations.
Yep.
And then you realize
And the layout of the
actual
studio.
You get diminishing returns getting more and more people, and then the logistical nightmares grow way larger. The only thing you get out of it is like a beautiful crowd shots. We got a really nice.
Oh, and also like
Villa
I told them, that's what I said to
Atlanta
Blast.
as
I
well.
was
A
like,
big
have you guys
theater.
looked at E-League Atlanta? Like the size, like you're at
Phenomenal.
like DC. I think they're aiming for like 2,000, 2,500, and I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. Like
Did
look
you
at
guys
Atlanta,
watch
it was
the
great.
World Final by any chance? Like and then
Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So like, and they had like what 600 people, buy tickets or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. Inside of the crowd.
Inside of the arena, I would say was very light.
Yeah.
Maybe for the grand final, it
But
filled
they-
out a
yeah,
little bit more.
But like they had really
wasn't
tight
much
crowd
percentage.
shots. You couldn't really tell, and it sounded like there was a lot more people when it came to watching.
It
back to
sounded
VOD.
solid. I think because when you get to something that personal, like when I did it a couple of times during the casts where I'd be like, "Yo, crowd," because
they reacted
it's
a
so
little bit,
small that you can see each and every person, right? From
Sure,
like the
yeah,
casters
yeah.
are always up in like the
Yeah,
upper
yeah.
bowl.
You can
like,
kinda control
when
things
we
a
would
little bit.
draw their attention, I could see every face in the room turn and look, and you had 100% of the crowd's attention because there was so few people.
Yeah.
And if you can harness the energy of 150 people, but at 100% capacity,
Yes.
you can still turn that into what sounds like 500, 1,000
Also, I'll tell you
person
too.
crowd.
Like the one thing that I don't think anyone's ever said about Abu Dhabi, like I think there were
The one thing nobody's ever said about
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi.
About the Abu Dhabi
Jason
Counter-Strike
Ochoa.
event.
Pressure's on
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
No, but like that, there were actually a lot of people in the concourse, like hanging out in like the private VIP like lounge where there was like catering and there were drinks and everything. And there were a lot of families there too. There was a lot of like parents with like 2 or 3 kids going there as well. Like that was like one of those events where again, first time in a new location, you're kind of establishing what the audience
Yes.
and you're establishing the fact that this event is going to be here every single year. So I know talking to even some of the Abu Dhabi gaming guys, they were just like, it's our job to make sure this is going to be filled up. And they were like, we guarantee like within like the next, by like the third time we run this event, that stadium's going to be filled.
Damn.
That was their goal.
All right.
You believe that?
No, I was gonna say I saw Jason.
But it sounded good.
They
It sounded
do.
really good.
I
The
saw
one thing
Jason's
they
face
have
when they told him
cultivated
that.
The one thing they have cultivated there is they have the UFC Fight Night,
Formula One.
the Fight Island. They have like a bunch of basically everything set up for entertainment. That entire place, events that take place.
Yep.
So that is one thing that everybody who lives in that area is looking for. Like,
Events.
that's how they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
events that
Yeah.
come
Yaz
through.
Island.
Things to go
Yaz
to.
Island. Yeah.
Yaz Island.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Like I think about Pro League when we had the finals. Like Malta's a really small place. You're not getting a lot of people at Malta.
Yeah.
No one's pretending that. But I don't know how many people we had. Maybe 100 and something. I think maybe a little bit, somewhere between 100 and 150. I feel like I should know this, but regardless, like for me, the
Just
crowd,
double the last season.
right? But the people were there. They were rowdy. They're having a good time. They're having some beers. They're making some noise.
Yeah.
You know what would make that experience better? Move the caster desk out in the center of that madness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, and then you know what would you know what we could even do? We're in the party area of fucking Malta. We're right next to Pasheville, where Config got his leg broken. Right. Not a great area. I'll say it again. I've said it every single time. Players, when you come to Malta, you're gonna come here for another fucking year and a half. Don't go out there, you dumb cunts. Anyway, I love you all.
But you know why they stopped putting cashers in the crowd is because someone threw a banana at Henry G at a DreamHack. Like
No,
back in
it was a
Snickers bar.
it was a Mars bar or Snickers bar. I don't
Snickers
remember
bar,
what I'm trying to officially. Yeah.
And then we had to cast every DreamHack event in a soundproof booth.
Yes.
fucking tin
Blow my
container.
brains
God
out,
damn
please.
Well, we'll get better
Well, also,
security.
it was like the weirdest thing. That era was so strange because we did Columbus where the casters were in the middle of the crowd. We did
Yeah, that
Cologne
was
where the
sick.
casters were like right next to the crowd. And then all of a sudden, like all the TLs were like, actually, it's just too hard to do the audio. And
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean it sounded great?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
how
sounded
did that
so
happen?
good.
How did we all get sold that fucking...
How did we listen to that
I
bullshit?
have no idea.
Because I was playing, right? I didn't qualify for Cologne. That's the bit that sent me. I literally quit in the airport on the way home. Because you think about it, you travel all the way home from Poland to Australia. I got 36 hours.
Yeah,
I
that's
sit
a lot.
there
That's a
and
lot of
contemplate your
thinking.
life.
I can
That's
hate
a
my,
lot of thinking.
I can hate myself for 36 hours. I
Easily.
can talk myself off the edge. Don't you worry about it.
Sounds like a weekend.
Yeah, I fucking did it. So where were we going with this?
the crowd mics, the audio
I'm
mic
getting
change.
flashbacks to just sit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then because when I did guest spots as a desk when I was a player, it was fucking gnarly. I loved it in Katowice.
You're
and
in the
stuff.
crowds.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. And then we just took these. I remember the first Cologne I ever came into. They're making these guys cast off fucking iPads. I'm not even kidding.
What?
Cologne 2017.
That was the shit show.
We came in. Yeah, that was the shit show mistake. We came in and it was like they had hired like a third party company to come in and like run the production and help like improve things. And they gave us stools without like backs on them. They were supposed to sit on. They gave us Madonna mics and they gave us iPads. And they were like, "This is how you're gonna watch the game." And it was like literally like an 11-inch iPad. Yeah. And we were like, "Hi, none of this is gonna work.
Yeah,
absolutely none of this. I'm not wearing a Madonna mic for like a 5-hour best of 3.
Dude,
like, you'll die."
And then we did Pro League, and then during Pro League, we're doing Pro League, and that's when we're in the TV2 studio in Denmark.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the headsets the casters are going to wear. Same thing. They want everyone to wear Madonna mics.
Yeah.
And then we're explaining to them that Counter-Strike is a game where the audio actually matters. You know, like it's really important for this stuff. And they pull this fucking trump card, and I heard someone did it today as well during rehearsal. This trump card of, oh yeah, but on TV, mate. As soon as I heard that, I was standing next to Henry. I fucking rinsed these cunts. Yeah. Like I was like, is it important to hear how many seconds are left on the bomb in Counter-Strike? Is that in soccer? Is that football? Yeah. Is that important? And they like these guys have no idea. They're just bringing these things from TV and trying to like carbon copy it and put it on something they don't even fucking understand.
I hate them so much.
So what are we doing, man?
Yeah.
It's like you have people now who have been involved in Counter-Strike for almost the entire lifespan of the game, let alone the broadcast. And I'm having some guy in a TV studio tell me, no, they can't have actual headsets because we don't do that in TV. It's like, but this isn't...
This is something that Mr. Beast said about YouTube. He's like, when he hires people now, he used to be like keen on the idea of hiring people who came from movies and TV because they have like more experience, like more like equipment and stuff like that. And he's like, he's realized that he's basically fired almost every single one of those people, and he only hires people who have just had like degen experience doing YouTube channels and understanding thumbnails, titles, and editing for a YouTube audience only. And he believes that he doesn't want anybody who's trying to do YouTube to go to TV because it's not trending that way in the first place.
Yeah, true.
It's YouTube. You want people who want YouTube because YouTube is the future, not fucking TV and movies. That's why they're coming to us.
That's the past. Dude.
And so like this idea that you're constantly going back and like falling for the fact that they're coming through saying they have all this experience, and then getting a guy who's like extremely lazy, he's only good at one thing and like can barely operate a camera, and then where there's some 19-year-old kid who fucking uses ChatGPT and can run 6 programs at once and like can make it it's like it makes no sense to go in that direction
anymore. I remember what Katowice 2016, that was like the one that was the day that had those tech issues where we were like casting games until like 2 a.m. or something like that to like no audience. They'd like moved them out, but like ESL had hired 5 people from TV for that event, and like 4 of them quit by the end of like the first week. 4 of them just quit, just walked off the job. Nope, I'm out. Because like the days were like 15 hours long, and they were like, I'm not getting paid like quadruple time like I would in TV. Like this is too much. There's too much shit going on. I'm doing 3 jobs. Like I'm out.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Didn't Blast's first event bring in a TV host who quit before it even started?
Yeah. The original desk host who was there was like a Danish like gaming and esports like content creator, like a radio podcast host. I do.
Was it something Frost?
Something Frost.
Was it Rebecca Frost? Sarah Frost. I don't have any issues saying the name. This is the fucking truth. This is history. Yeah. This is 6 years ago.
We were talking about this the other day as well.
I always just call that the one-day event.
We were talking about this at dinner with like Anders and Machine because like she was supposed to do the desk host and Alex like sat her. Alex was like the number 1 desk host at the time.
But
he sat her down.
Alex was hired just to stage host.
And Alex was like, okay, these are the personalities you're gonna have on the desk. This is how you manage them. This is what this guy likes. This is how you set this guy up. This is how you do X, Y, and Z. And then Anders like sat her down for half a day and like tried to like start explaining Counter-Strike to her because she hadn't ever seen Counter-Strike before. It was like going through like the basics of that, and like it all just got like so overwhelming to the point where like the day of the show came along and she just quit. And that's when
Semler hosted. And then day one, we had so many network issues that we literally did the podcast. And I remember we were just going forever. And I think it was Finn. I forget the first. And I was like, called him over for an interview, like while the camera wasn't on me. And then we just started bringing players in, and we did like the longest podcast in fucking.
If you think about someone who didn't know anything about Counter-Strike having to like manage those tech issues for 3.5 hours, like they would have quit on air.
You guys got a couple of good gifs out of that, though. I remember that, like the phone light gif with you in it. That's from that event.
Down at the
next
front?
One, I think, wasn't it?
Could have been the next one.
That's from 2018.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, that's from 2018.
Could have been. I don't remember.
I think I was. No, I would have been there.
Maybe it's 2017.
Could have been 2017. I don't fucking remember.
I know I've done every single Blast event since Istanbul 2018.
Okay.
I missed Miami and I missed Moscow.
Right.
Yeah.
Goddamn right you have.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool because like I think up until like esports, I've never committed to anything for a long time in general. It was just bounced around to different shit.
Yeah.
But my 10-year YouTube anniversary is in September. And that's like the only time in my life I've ever saying like I've done something for a long time.
For a decade.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is the thing. The milestones look a little bit differently now, don't they? But I'm trying to think. Was the last Blast event I did? Was it 2021?
It would have been World
Was
Finals.
it?
No, it was the Copenhagen event.
It was Copenhagen.
I did the desk with Matsu and Freya.
Fall Finals in 2021.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
No,
But
is that
No.
No, it would have been
2019.
2019. Yes.
Damn.
It's the last. Yes.
2021. I was on
Whoa.
the. I wasn't. No, that was Yanko was on the desk.
It's when-
2021.
Oh, was he?
Oh no, that was World Finals. You did Fall
I
Finals
did 2021.
No, incorrect. Yes, you
Yeah,
did. 21.
it
Yeah,
was
you came back
kinda-
afterwards. You came
was
back
kinda
afterwards.
recently.
Yeah, because Machine did stage
Yeah.
hosting.
Yeah.
And then you had that whole thing where it's like, yo, the people he was interviewing were getting
It was
Shocks was
Shocks.
getting booed.
It was
Shocks was
Shocks.
getting booed, and,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
just called out the crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
yo,
not gonna
smart
lie.
man.
When that happens, I like that Shocks was getting booed.
Yeah.
So
I like the
the
booze.
booing too.
So
I like the booze.
with this crowd stuff, I've been thinking about it a lot, right? I've been putting more thought into it with the Rio stuff, and
I love the instant booing. It doesn't seem personal, honestly.
so
It's
the
just
thing
like-
with the Shocks one was right. They weren't even playing.
No.
No, that was just coming out
It was
on
just doing
stage.
the
Yeah,
pregame.
it was just
Yeah,
coming out on
yeah,
stage.
yeah.
So it was like okay, this is a little bit, and the crowd up until that point never felt hostile,
Yeah.
right? Like it
Okay.
was.
I think the hostile thing, though, I think it felt like more perception than reality.
No, for sure,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think Danes are at all. Like, I don't look
Yeah.
at Danes and like they're big people. Like, I think that they're very attractive people. I don't think they're scary in terms of they're going to hurt you people. But in terms of like there was like a tonal shift there because it went from Australia's best team in the world, and then out of the pandy, we found ourselves in this new world, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of a little bit.
I do think that you can take your statement right now and apply that to if there was booing to happen right now in Copenhagen after the most recent Blast Fall Finals,
Yeah.
I would agree with you. But I think at that event, and I think if Machine were here right now, he would argue your point, because I do believe there was a small pack of people at that event in one specific area that were just straight up Danish football hooligans.
Okay.
And those boos were just at anything. Those guys were just
Anything non-Danish.
they were just rowdy and
Yeah.
kind of rude. And I think that even when Machine would kind of come out and do his whole, do the stage hosting
Normally,
theatrics,
yeah.
that they even kind of like reacted to him weird. Because
Okay.
I make it a point to just go watch in the crowd, stand out in the crowd, kind of get the vibe out there.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
pack
yeah.
was
The energy.
always just kind of yelling louder than everybody else. And if it wasn't Danish, they weren't yelling in like a supportive way.
Okay.
So I think that like when Alex addressed the crowd in that moment,
He was addressing them.
you can't apply what he said to the whole crowd.
Sure.
You can apply it to the 35 guys that were sitting in that one section.
Sure, okay.
Because those guys were just
Sure.
drunk. I mean, and if anything,
There were definitely guys like throwing two Borgs like
Yeah.
outside of the arena on the way in, and like
Yeah.
crushing them and like throw them on the ground,
Okay.
throw them in the
the
trees
Danish
and
crowd
shit.
does
Like,
get.
I love that piss.
There's a
Everyone,
lot. Yeah,
it's a
look
pretty,
at us.
it's a pretty
We've had
drunk
a couple
crowd, man.
beers.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I don't litter.
Yeah, that's the difference.
I don't leave them on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I am gonna leave them in your room though.
On the ground. On the ground.
Yeah, where my other ones are,
On-
dude.
And there's a few here on the
There's
windowsill.
a few over here on the windows.
Yeah. But we won't. Don't
yeah.
even tell the cleaner about those.
Yeah.
But I agree in the sense that like I think it's good if a crowd has a personality. I think to expect every crowd to be impartial is not fair. I think though the biggest issue with the Brazil stuff, because that is the most extreme we've ever seen, right, of a crowd.
That's the first time. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're right.
That the commentators in the arena were actively rooting for a team live, because Gaules is not a commentator.
True,
per se.
true, yeah.
He is, he's the Brazil fan base
Let's not go down
embodied
that
in
road.
an individual streamer.
Let's not go down that one.
Why?
I've had those debates.
About
The whole like galas being like inside the voice inside the arena and everything like that.
it was bad.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go down the road.
No, we don't have to go down the road,
Okay.
but we can agree quite quickly
Yeah,
that it
yeah.
was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Right.
But with what Connor's saying here, like I
Yeah,
can
you
get
have
that
someone
point.
actively like riling them up.
And I also get like from my perspective, casting in that arena, especially in a Furia game where they lost, right? Like I look at that right there, I have to give it the source because the crowd's out here not doing shit. Not only were they not like sad, like audibly, right? They were obviously sad, but you didn't hear like or anything like that. It was just quiet, right? You didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And that right there is the hard part because when I watched that Melbourne crowd, they were reacting to the ebbs and the flows of the game.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that for them, the support would have been more for like a Greyhound or a Vertex, but then as the event goes on, they're just there for the Counter-Strike. I get it's not going to be like that everywhere. Ideally, that would be the best. If everybody just was like there because they enjoyed the moment and the experience of the Counter-Strike.
Only events where the teams are shit.
Right?
That's just the only.
Well, they get like one event every 2 years as well, so
Yeah.
it's like
But even Katowice this year was fucking limp. Like Katowice this year was limp. Like for Katowice standards, this year, I was like, can we move it to Krakow? Like, because I think something happens. I think something happens at a certain point. If you keep coming to an event and the event has like this status, the expectation is the event is going to have this status. But the people who bring the status are the fans who are there, who are electric, who are excited to be there. And if they're not excited to be there because they have a team to support, then why are they excited to be there? Because they want this. Unfortunately, they're the ones who give us this bar. Like, you need to be there yelling, supporting, enjoying. And if you're not that type of personality and you're going there to experience that moment, unfortunately in Katowice, you're shit out of luck. Yeah. If you want to experience that in Europe at the moment, go to Cologne.
Go to Cologne.
Go to Cologne.
Or go to what was Antwerp.
Yes.
Arguably one of...
Or come here.
One of the best... Or that's what Paris could end up being.
Shocks like League of Legends Shocks. They said that like the French crowd in League of Legends is like the best one in the world. And
wouldn't surprise me if it's banging out.
Yeah,
I expect
Acor Arena,
the
Acor Arena that this will be at is the biggest non-football arena in all of like France or something like that. It's like massive. So
I see there's still tickets for Thursday, Friday, and I just want to say this. That's expected. Like for people who are out there going, oh, they're still selling tickets. It's like, if you think you can sell out an arena on a Thursday and a fucking Friday at late afternoon,
I mean, this is capacity
delusional.
like 20,000. We don't know how many seats.
True, the
have,
configuration.
It is fucking massive, man.
Yeah. It was between like 7 and 20 something, I think. Dude,
it's gonna be sick.
I'm getting fucking heebie-jeebies, dude.
When you walk out there and you ground yourself in the reality that there are this many people here live watching this, and then there's this many people at home, it's like the whole fucking thing changes. Because like what we do traditionally is like if you guys are doing like a blast groups, or if we're doing like a pro league or something like that. Actually, you do blast groups as well. But regardless, it's just like you're to everybody at home. And I'm not like picturing everybody in their bedroom, but I know there's people in their bedroom on the TV or whatever. But when there's, say, let's just sit at a real simple number of 10,000. 10,000 people made a decision when they got out of bed that day that they were going to go to this place to watch this thing. 10,000 people.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, and if you can't get excited about that, you can't get excited about fucking anything. 10,000 people, a lot of fucking human beings.
For like Counter-Strike.
It's like what you mentioned before. You had 150 people or whatever turn out to your watch party.
Insane.
Dude, we have 140 people or some shit coming to the HLTV Confirmed thing.
So
to listen to a fucking podcast.
Congrats.
It's so stupid. Like, it's stupid in the best way. In the best way that it's stupid, right? In the way that these people enjoy this so much that they want to come out and enjoy this experience.
and the way people spend their time is even more important than the way people spend their money.
100%. 100%. Like,
and energy just to get there as well.
Gentlemen, I want to say this because I feel like we're almost at the end of the tether here, and this moment right now might be the perfect moment to actually end where we are. But I've more than thoroughly enjoyed the way that I've spent my time for the last couple of hours.
Can't put a price on this podcast.
True.
But this is the
Except
thing,
for
right?
99 cents. Paywall's coming.
Happy to have you as a guest again, Moses.
Yeah, actually, we're going to be heading over to blast.tv. It'll be next to the Launders
Perfect
show.
time to announce Blast.tv.
We need more exclusive content.
No ads in 4K.
4K for you, baby.
On this fucking webcam, on an angle, on a lamp. Next to
On
the
a
bed.
hotel lamp.
Right? No, but this, I really appreciate you two giving us the time here, because there's one thing which doesn't happen a lot, like in green rooms and the same thing, and like you guys talk a lot with each other when you commentate, or I'll talk with Machine a lot, but the only time I really get to sit down and talk to other people like long form, maybe we're playing video games, right? But it's very rare like I can look at the person and I can do this, because like for me to be social at home, Henry and Alex, I'm very fortunate to have those guys close by. But other than that, like in a different group of people in a different setting, it's very rare for me.
Yeah.
So we're it's midnight now. Jason's probably gonna go to bed.
If I may add, I would like to say as well that there's the reason this is happening right now is also because this is a major, and that's the beauty of the major.
Us in the room.
You in the room at least.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hang out with Jason, I hang out with Pimp and Maniac
that's true,
and Freya,
that's true.
and I have my blast circle. And there was always a little uncertainty as to whether you and Alex would be here. And there is some absence as well from other talent that like would have been great to have around at the very least to just celebrate CS again, right? Because we're all fucking hyped about this event. We know that Paris is going to get taken over by Counter-Strike starting in the next couple of weeks. We know what it's like just walking around a city when a major is ongoing and there's fans nearby. So because it's a major, everybody who should be there is supposed to be there and does get to come. And when that happens, that's when we get to share these kinds of moments.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah.
So thanks.
Amen to that.
Thanks for inviting
Yeah.
us to Moses' hotel.
Moses' room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice room.
I got you, boys. No worries.
Such a great
Thanks,
guest.
Jason.
Y'all are welcome to come. All right.
Anytime.
Fuck these guys. These guys can't go back anymore. I've had enough Canadians on this fucking show.
Anything else anyone wants to say before we go? Jason, it's you got what time? Actually, did we check what time Jason asked to leave?
9:45.
It's 9:45.
Yeah, I'm good.
Because there's been a lot of updates in the group.
Oh,
If you've
have
been
there?
paying
I
attention.
don't know if there's updates.
What was the last update? The last update was not
gotta be
to do
about
with you. It
update.
was to do with the later shift, which is to do with us. It says,
Wow.
okay,
2 p.m. again.
Our call times haven't changed, gentlemen.
Must be.
Um,
Is what, 2?
Leave hotel by 4.
Oh,
I don't know
Jesus.
if I can.
That's tough. What are you guys gonna? How are you guys gonna make that happen?
I actually have a 5 p.m. call time minimum, so
I have to get that move for tomorrow. But this is the thing with the late shift. We have to watch all the games. Anyway, I'll keep talking if I could forever and ever and ever. Look, while we got you on the show, Jason, it's good to have you a guest. Do you have anything you want to plug to the people at home?
Nope, not anymore. I had something. I'm good now.
I think we're going to upgrade him to a chair with a back on this next episode.
well,
I think
Hey,
maybe
it's the host duty. I take the stool.
Next time we have you guys as guests, we'll even have mics with stands for you.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe,
And
yeah.
they'll be like these.
I like watching Mohan with the mic though. It shows off his boxer tattoo. He's branded his mic hand very well.
Oh, yeah. That's this one.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be the other way.
It's been a good workout, though.
Yeah.
Do you have
He's
anything?
been switching arms as he talks.
I have,
Mid sentence, he's been going back and forth.
We don't normally get people to plug things, but maybe we should start.
Yeah.
Boxer's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Anime profile picture T-shirt is out on the store right now. If you're an ironic anime watcher or you hate anime watchers, then.
But what if you like anime?
If you like anime, perfect.
Okay.
Then you can sport
So
that.
it's
It's
for everybody.
It's all the
It's
Steam,
actually for everybody.
All the Steam users who like. Even I have an anime profile picture sometimes, so I use an Attack on Titan chibi.
Damn.
Yeah. So
Have you finished Attack on Titan?
yes.
I'm only 7 episodes left.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, yeah.
I'm so close.
It's one of the only new
Don't
shows
watch
that
it.
I've actually watched, and I really, really loved it. So.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, supporting anime profile picture users and ironic haters at the same time, and also we have the classic and negative on the store if you want to buy one of those permanently now, which we've never done before. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Nice.
And I'll also make sure after you're done listening to this, go to
store.boxer.gg by the way.
go over to Spotify,
Store.boxer.gg.
queue up and follow Scrawny.
Scrawny.
Oh yeah,
new podcast from our boy Scrawny.
We
Yeah,
spoke
man.
about it last time he was on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's a good
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
and
it's fun.
also Fantasyland, which
Fantasyland
is
on my
is a
YouTube.
series for HLTV fantasy
Yeah.
betters.
I think as well for Scrawny Dog. Thank you for bringing it up. First
I
of
got
all,
you, dog.
I think if you guys enjoyed this episode, which I think was pleasantly not as Counter-Strike focused as maybe some of the other ones.
Yeah.
That's my attempt.
This
with
is how I
Scrawny Doggin.
prefer them to be.
Yes, because with Scrawny, I think that it's important to just get to talk about things that aren't CS related.
100%.
CS doesn't define who any four of us are or the people in this space. And while I'm here in Paris, I'm going to record the first ever Scrawny with a guest.
Oh.
I have a mobile setup, wireless Go Shure microphones.
Okay.
I'm thinking head out to a cafe nearby,
Oh.
mic up a guest, have a coffee, and just
Get some
talk
engines
about
in the background.
Talk about what? No, they have really good sound isolation. Incredible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Incredible.
incredible.
But you don't have a video element for that, right?
No, it's audio only.
I respect it.
I like the accessibility of
Respect the fuck
audio
out of it,
only.
really.
I only I only listen to podcasts usually like when I'm traveling and stuff. So I like that. I like to just kind of visualize what's going on.
All my Face-It teammates are blind, so I think they enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. It's dead on. But yeah, I'm going to do it with a guest, and I'm going to give people a platform to talk about things that aren't CS related because there's a lot of great characters and personalities in this space who have interests beyond CS.
Yeah.
We're not only a product of Counter-Strike, but we're bigger than that. So we should talk
I've just.
about
I
those
was thinking
elements.
like if Connor ever had me on the show, I'm trying to think what I would talk about.
Yeah,
I was thinking,
Yeah.
I went to DayZ.
Sponge just had
He's
a
the
whole
check-
segment
he's the
about
checkmate guest.
how
Yeah,
his
right?
life, the first 10 years of
Yeah.
life, he doesn't remember, and the next last 20
It's
has
Counter-Strike.
been
It's just Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike 1.3.
Yeah.
this year.
Anyway, not just Counter Strike. What could I talk about?
Plumbing.
Plumbing.
The AS3500. How we do things in Australia by the plumbing standard.
Okay.
So we could talk about that. I don't.
Genuinely, unironically.
See, that'd be a
wanna
lot of
learn about
followers.
it.
There's a lot of plumbers out there, a whole lot of podcasts.
Yeah, sure. Right. It's happening to that niche now. Yeah.
All right, fuck it. Let's get out of here. Goodbye,
GGs.
everybody.
Bye.
Peace out.